streets are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. Through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go. See the horizon turn us to thousands, and we'll grow in number, fueled by them to see the horizon turn us to thousands. We'll go through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And
walking alone, the streets are empty. The only thing I can see is my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking, but there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town, from London to Taiwan. I've been all around the globe, trying to protect your soul. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight. Yeah. We are heroes tonight. We will fly above the sky. We are heroes tonight.
Well, good evening, chat. How are we today? How is everyone's weekend going? Let's have a look. Barbie Hills, nice to see you, man. Casper Goblin, how you doing, man? Lieutenant Dan's legs. I hope always a pleasure to see you, man. Yessie, how you doing? Gel, how you doing? Do I know Ashley Rayner? You mentioned Ashley before. I haven't looked into her yet. I will, because I know you said that she's like cool taste, not cool taste, Durkee, and I will look into her. Oh, hey, Alan, wait a minute. Welcome to the Trigger Warning Show, everyone. So, what's been happening this week? Quite a few things. And I think the number one person who I think can help kind of explain what's been going on is, I mentioned previously, briefly, is Lazy Bedhead. How you doing, Lazy?
Sorry, just a second.
Yeah.
My dog, at the most perfect time, decided to just start whining downstairs. And since these walls are really paper thin, you can hear her.
Oh no. Oh.
She's sweet though. It's just that she just likes to talk, and nobody likes to listen. So it's just her yelling at everything for no reason. But I'm good. Other than that, other than the horrible timing, I'm doing wonderful. Yeah.
Cool. Brilliant. Lovely stuff. So, for those who don't, know who you are, do you want me to give them a brief, like
Just like an overview or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, go nuts.
So, not too long ago, I want to say 2 weeks now. Was it 2 weeks or?
It's been roughly that, yeah.
Yeah. So, about 2 weeks ago, I kind of like mentioned this before my stream like conked out because internet issues. I've moved out of McDonald's now. We've upgraded people. We're in Burger King now.
Yeah,
Have it,
boy, let's
have it your way.
go. Dude, honestly, their shakes are so fucking good. Like, my boyfriend and I went to a Burger King just...
Do I sound better now?
You sound great.
Okay,
on my end. I don't know if they sound good in chat, but...
Because I've been told that I sound very low, so...
I've been told I sound
grateful.
super fucking loud, so I don't know.
Let me see if I can fix that. The mic that I'm using at the moment is like a bit.
Sounds better than anything I've ever used. So like,
So how's that sound?
Perfect for your ASMR so far.
So yeah, so about two weeks ago, you did a video on Kira the Wolf, and it was an hour-long episode. It was an hour-long video, or just an overview about what's been going on, and it garnered attention because, well, it was taken down. Like people were watching it, and then I remember seeing people who tweeting about it, where the video just went, like just went. That's the best way I can describe it. Just like suddenly it was there, gone. Refresh the page, saw the notice that the copyright. Weston Evans. What's on that channel? It's Lazy Bedhead.
Hi.
In hindsight, I should have. Did you want me to get a copy of the URL and I can spam it in the chat?
I mean, I can probably just do that real quick since I have it pulled up.
You sure? Cool.
Bring that up. I fixed the auto sensitivity. I had to do it to manual because some people were saying my mic was really loud. I don't know if that's better. I don't know if I sound any different. I don't think so, but
it sounds good to me.
Okay. Hopefully that's better. People are just telling me I'm too loud now, and that's like I'm
using a different microphone this time, so I'm kind of like. Hopefully this will be sorted. And yeah, so the video was taken down. And for those, I think, when did you tweet about the email chain and everything? Because
I gotta go back. I think it was like I think it was like a week ago. I'm pretty sure. I'm going back to see where the original post was. Cecil will probably know better.
Oh, sorry. I saw someone saying that they don't see the video. Yeah, the video was taken down. We'll explain a bit more into that. Cecil McFly has a archive of that, and yeah.
So it was the 30th of April is when I posted to Twitter the Google Doc in particular that talked about the email exchange that I had with Kiro the Wolf.
Okay.
So when I first got the strike, I was under the impression that the punishment system for YouTube strikes was still the same. So the way that YouTube strikes used to work is that if you got one strike, you would be nerfed for 90 days. Basically, you couldn't live stream. You can only upload videos that were 15 minutes long. And given my YouTube history, 15-minute videos is just not something I can do.
Mm.
Like, I unintentionally get my videos super duper long, and I don't even know how. Like, it's just not fair.
I
I don't do it on purpose. It's just I talk a lot.
understandable. And I think I've mentioned this before in my previous stream. I have my own views on the whole DMCA claiming system. I think it's outdated. I think it's something that needs to be updated.
Oh, for sure.
Because they still have the Happy Tree Friends video, and
They do.
who remembers
They
that shit?
do. That's so funny. That video, I remember everyone was like ripping it to shreds because they're like, this is not how copyright works. And the fact that Happy Tree Friends agreed to do this is so fucking stupid. And I'm like, I agree. Because, I mean, if you look at any of their videos, they're promoted to kids. But, like, if you actually have watched any of them, they clearly aren't. So they're breaking COPPA if they're going to label themselves as for kids. But that's not even the point. That's not DMCA. It's more of like a, it's more of like a community guidelines thing. But when I got my strike, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna get nerfed. But it turns out that they actually did update like the punishment system. So instead of having like 15-minute uploads, you only get nerfed for like a week. Like you can't upload for a week, which
Yeah.
knowing that in hindsight, I would have kept the strike on. Like I was just like, I wouldn't have fought it. But I was going in the mindset of like, oh fuck, I'm not going to be able to upload 15-minute video. I'm only going to be able to upload like 15-minute videos, and I was just like, my channel can't fucking do that. Like, just by the nature of how I've edited my videos and how much I talk, there's just no way. And I was just like, fuck. So I reached out to Team YouTube on Twitter. I initially tweeted out, like, showing everyone that, oh, it got taken down by Cure the Wolf. And I was just like, motherfucker. Like, that's what the tweet said.
Yeah,
I've
I remember
deleted
that.
it now because I of the agreement I reached to Kira, which we'll get into later. But basically, when I tweeted that, everyone was pissed. Like, so many people were pissed, and I was shocked. I was
was
like,
one of
how
them.
many? I don't even have like a Twitter that's big enough for this many people to get mad. Like,
Yeah.
there's
No,
no.
I remember I was one of them. I literally atted at Kiro, and I was like, dude, what the fuck? I thought you was off YouTube now. Like, why are you still on YouTube and you're DMCAing people? Like, what the fuck? Like
That is a good thing. That is actually kind of questionable because it's just like he said he was going to take a break from the internet, and there he is, like, still claiming other people's shit. Like, he still thinks he belongs here. Like, it's like, go fuck
like
yourself.
like
But
yeah.
anyway,
Anyway, sorry.
so when I got this copyright strike, I was just like, fuck. Like, I got kneecapped, like, essentially, and I was like, fuck, dude, this is gonna suck. So I reach out to Team YouTube on Twitter. They said some bullshit like, this is what you can do, like automatic bot responses. I'm like, I feel like I'm not talking to real people. So I decided to go on Google support. I asked Cecil, like, is there any direct way I can talk to somebody at Google? And she said that in YouTube Studio, you can talk to somebody directly via their support line. So that's what I did. And I reached out to some guy, a couple people I talked to. First guy was, his name started with a J, and then the next guy was some generic like bro dude name, California. But I talked to this guy and he was very helpful, but he could only offer me the two options YouTube has because YouTube system doesn't allow any other favors really, unless if you have like 100K, and you have like a direct YouTube associate once you reach that much. So I was just like, hey, listen, I'm not comfortable. Like, here's the two options for fighting any strike, really, whether that be, but this is specifically for like DMCA. So if you get a DMCA copyright strike, what you can do is that you can either counterfile or you can talk to the person directly because YouTube legally has to provide their personal email to contact through when you file a DMCA. So when I got that DMCA strike, I was given Kiro's personal email.
Yeah.
Now, I was like, I don't want to fucking talk to Kiro. Like, there's no way
I would have made a
he's gonna
fucking.
tell me to go fuck myself. You know what I mean?
I would have made a video about it. I would have like put in like all the like I would have been more like hostile to him.
Oh
I
yeah,
think,
for sure.
personally, but yeah.
So I reached out to this guy, and he said, well, you can counterfile. What counterfiling consists of is that you have to provide your full legal name. You have to provide your legal name, your address, like someplace they can mail the paperwork to, because this is basically going through a legal process,
Which
right?
is complete bullshit. Like,
oh well, it kind of is, but it kind of isn't. See, the thing is that YouTube is a company that doesn't want to get involved in lawsuits all the time. Like, I'm sure, like, when the first few like YouTuber lawsuits that went down, like, YouTube probably wanted to keep their hands out of it because they didn't want to have to be involved in anything legally. Which, as a company, I completely understand not wanting to get involved in anything legally, but at the same time, and this was a good point that I found on Twitter. Someone was just like, I will find the tweet of what somebody said because it actually brings up a good point. I don't know if this is like exactly how it works, but basically they said, I actually have the tweet, I found it. Whoever is running the replies to this account needs to get fired. In 2008, the courts ruled that that copyright holders cannot order a takedown without considering fair use. So basically, YouTube has to consider fair use when it comes to filing a takedown notice, because filing a takedown notice does consist of actually doing like something that requires the legal process anyways. So for YouTube to not want to get involved legally is kind of ridiculous, because they're issuing these strikes that they have to uphold to fair use anyways, or else they're going to get themselves involved in something legally. So they're really not good at doing a great job trying to avoid doing this. You know what I mean? But,
yeah.
but it's funny because when I was like adding like Team YouTube the first time on Twitter, which, by the way, I have to ask, why is Twitter the only way to get to YouTube, to like Team YouTube, to talk to you? I have to ask that because it's like, what the fuck is up with that?
I don't understand it. Like, Twitter, like
Twitter of all
Google,
places.
you can have a Gmail account and you can just email Google.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Can't that happen? Anyway, by the way, I just noticed NFL Guru 22 said just came in. I knew who the guest was right when I heard. I hope the guy who struck him gets put in jail forever. I have a viewpoint about that, and I think, yeah, I hope so too. But
so anyways,
yes,
so when I first was adding at Team YouTube trying to get their attention, I'm like, listen, I think this was a mistake. They gave me their automatic bot responses, but what I thought was so funny is that I was telling them, I think this could be a mistake. Is there any reason why Kira would do this? And they basically said something along the lines of, we don't know why people issue like copyright strikes, but they can do it. And it's like, but you have to consider fair use before you can agree to take the video down. Like, what do you mean? We don't know why they abuse our systems, but they can. Like, it's just.
I think there needs to be someone in between. Like, you file a DMCA.
Like, real lawyers in there. I mean, I know that would be expensive, but like, there are plenty of YouTube lawyers that can look over stuff for YouTube if they wanted to. Like, it's not that hard.
Like, we're able to put a man on the moon and like have him like call the White House using a telephone, you know, and the whole system is just like, oh, we got a DMCA strike, bam, done.
Right. Like the fact that they just take down stuff without considering, or without even emailing me about it, like, hey, listen, you're in violation of this. Like, it would have been easier maybe if YouTube, I don't know, messaged me saying, you're using somebody else's content, you're going to receive a strike. You have two options, like, use our editing system, which we provide, to get rid of the infringing content, and then we won't give you a strike, and there won't be a problem. You'd think that would be the obvious solution, but, like, it's not. Like, they just don't think that way, I guess.
It's complete dog shit.
Absolutely.
It is. So DMCA strike. You got in contact with YouTube. They told you, well, we don't fucking know.
Right.
And they recommended you to contact Kiro himself, and that's what
Well,
you
that
did.
was what the Google support did once I actually reached out to a real person instead of on Twitter. So they said, okay, you can either file for a copyright takedown, like you
Uh,
can either file for like a copyright, like to
yeah,
fight this strike. I can't think of what the word is
I
right
can't either.
immediately.
Like a
You can either fight that.
counterclaim.
Yes, thank you. You can either counterclaim, and I'm like, yeah, but that requires giving my personal information, which I'm not comfortable with doing because I live with my mom and my siblings live here. So getting involved with this means putting them at risk, and that's just not something I'm willing to do.
No,
If I had my own
understandable.
place, which I am working on getting my own place, then I would be fine of putting myself in that risk. Like that'd be not that big of a deal because my boyfriend knows that I do this and we're living together in like a week and a half. So like it was just like, yeah, he was like telling me I should have fought this too, but given circumstances I couldn't fight it. So I'm just like, is there any other way I can handle this without having to go the legal route? And they said you could contact him, and I'm like, oh, fuck, because like I'm just like, are you serious? Like, who wants no, like, so I was just like, fine, you know what, if I take this civilly, if I don't blow up his inbox and call him the worst things in the world, maybe he'll be nice to me about it. And of course when I end up going into the email exchange and talking to him, funnily enough, even though he says this is about copyright, I took down your video because you stole my content, most of the emails consist of him just defending himself and his actions. Like, if this is about copyright, why aren't we talking about the infringing content and copyright instead of your innocence? Like, this isn't about copyright, and I know that for a fact. I told Kira, listen, I don't mean to assume your intent here, buddy, but from everything that you're telling me right now, I can't say that this is.
I've gone through the emails and I've read these emails and I've kind of highlighted points that were like of interest to me because it's just like, well, yeah. So what I've highlighted a few. So this is him in the first email that he responded to you. I do not wish to relitigate the YouTube strike issued, even though you made a huge number of errors in your reporting of the facts of my case. That is not why I issued the strike. It is. You stole my content, and that was evaluated by YouTube employees and determined to be valid application of the law. And we kind of talked about that. It's anyone can like file a DMCA strike, and
what I learned from watching, because this story was featured on Tipster's channel. Not sure how that got there.
Yeah, me neither.
I did not intend that.
That was bizarre.
That was weird. I was just like, whoa, this is the timeline where apparently people know me now. Like, that wasn't supposed to happen. But when it was on Tipster's channel, he read that part out and he said, listen, YouTube isn't supposed to do that. That's because that's supposed to go through the legal system.
Yeah.
YouTube legally is not allowed to validate whether something is stolen content or fair use. I mean, technically speaking, by 2008 law, they have to uphold to fair use when evaluating these things because they're, as I mentioned before, they're copyright holders because they contain thousands upon thousands of hours of content that utilizes other people's like music, imagery, footage, all that stuff. So as copyright holders to different copyrighted content, they have to uphold to fair use. But legally, they are not allowed to evaluate stolen content and consider anything a valid application, which is probably why the system is so fucked up. And it's because YouTube isn't allowed themselves to look over the content, which I feel like they should because they're copyright holders. So they have to at least uphold to at least some level of fair use when they're deciding to take down this stuff.
They should.
Well, they should, but they don't.
Exactly.
Why would they do that?
Because
that would just be too hard.
It'll be fun, wouldn't it?
It would just be too hard.
I miss the old Wild West of the days when it was like you can just upload anything on YouTube.
I mean, I kind of do too, but I kind of don't because that just required like, so much illegal shit getting uploaded too, and it's just like leave that to Live Leak, dog.
Oh,
like,
I mean,
just
like,
don't. Nobody wants to see that shit.
Not like funny enough, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, don't fuck with cats. Like like not
Oh, yeah.
that far where it's just like,
Yeah, don't post that shit.
yeah, just
I
like,
saw those videos like when I was a kid. It was kind of funny because I was just like, I look back on that and I'm like, I'm not fucked up, and then I'm just like, oh yeah, I gotta go to therapy now. Like, and it's not even just because of that. I'm just like,
yeah.
there's no way that I can assess myself as an okay, mentally stable human being 9 times out of 10.
I think I've got a few screws looses. You know, like looses. That's a new word. I could just
Looses?
that's a new word I made up. Screw loose. Screw loose. There you go. My point being, I make up words that don't mean anything. There you go.
It's great that we established that.
Um,
It must be a British thing.
oh, trust me. You should see a British pub. Because
I've
one
always
minute
wanted to go to like the UK though. I mean, I've never traveled anywhere outside of my state.
don't
So I need to get out of here. I need to
Don't.
go somewhere.
Don't.
What do you mean don't?
nah don't
You just don't want me finding you in real life.
please don't. I want to be anonymous for one reason.
I know. I don't blame you. Like for me, when I like made the Kuro video, my channel was something way different before, and it stagnated at 6K. And then when I made that video, because Cecil promoted it, my whole channel exploded like double that. Not to flex or anything, but for me, it was just like that shouldn't have happened. Like for me, I was just like I was okay with being stuck at 6K for a while, and having no one know who I am. That felt nice. At least my audience felt like controllable. Now I'm just like, how do I address any of you guys? Like, you guys are crazy, and it's like so weird.
I'm kind of like I've just kind of like got into this whole spiel of like doing videos and like doing live streaming now, and it's an experience. It's a learning curve for me. So and I appreciate my viewers who kind of like stick with it and deal with it. I've had experiences where like my Mac Donalds Wi-Fi would cop out. So, but now we have upgraded.
Nice. Let's
So
go.
so having a look. However, I'm willing to voluntarily remove the strike on your channel if we can reach an agreement. And that's where I kind of like fucking lost it, because it was just like, okay, so you'll do this in return of, anyway.
Yeah. I think people made a good point for me that I shouldn't have negotiated. And for me, it was just like, look, it was either that or I take this up legally. And I don't have the money or the time or the patience, or I can't even take the risk because of my family. So I was just like, if I had any other option, if I wasn't living here, fuck it. I would have gone balls blazing. I would have gotten to that courtroom and caused shit. Like, I don't care. But like, for me, the way I saw it and the way I've explained it to people is that, look, like, because some people are looking at these emails and they think I took it very respectfully and everything, but I shouldn't respect a dog fucker. I shouldn't have negotiated, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I shouldn't have. But if I think about it the way I would have handled it, like, what if I went into his emails and I just called him the worst things and I just threatened, hey, listen, you motherfucker, take this strike off or I'm going to rip your cock off. Like, something like that. He would have ignored me. He would have said, fuck you, and that would have been it. And hell, he would have tried even harder to take my YouTube channel down, considering the people that he's hanged out with. I know that a lot of he has like one mod, and he was spamming my comment section a lot. And he had me listed as a channel on his list.
I know the one you're talking
like,
about.
why was I there? Like, I don't know what
I know the one you're talking about, and I am aware of that channel.
I've heard some things, very specific things that I don't know are true, but I've heard that he's attempted to false strike channels to talk about Kuro and stuff like that, and I just didn't want to be the next one, you know what I mean? So I was just like, if I just negotiated kindly with Kuro and just get the strike off, my life will be fine. And then I talked to it with Cecil, and she's like, nah, you got extorted. And I'm like, fuck, I thought I won. I mean, technically I did, because either way, if I, like, either way, if I didn't fight this strike and everything, people would have been pissed at Kiro regardless.
So
Like for me, it's like I don't fight the strike. I have it stuck on my channel. My video's gone. Everyone's pissed. It gets re-uploaded over and over again just so everyone can tell Kiro to fuck himself. And people recognize me as, oh, the girl that got fucked over by Kiro online because he abused the copyright system. But now that I had this emailed exchange and I posted it everywhere, everyone's like, not only are you the person that got screwed over by Kiro, but you're the person that got extorted by him, manipulated by him, forced to into like this sort of like fucking contract just to get the strike off. And now people are even more pissed than before. Like the fire just kept getting hotter and hotter. Like I lit the fucking match when I made the video. Kiro like fanned the flames when he removed it, and then I added gasoline to make it go up when I released these emails.
So
which, you know.
Yeah. So just to kind of like confirm, like the strike is now gone from your channel. It's no longer there.
It's gone.
It's definitely gone.
For sure. Yep. I've checked. My status is good.
Brilliant. Okay. That is quite like that's quite shocking to me because I thought he would kind of like do the underhanded thing and be like pretend to send an email to this contact that he's probably made up to, and then I say, oh well, it's taking longer than expected. Something, but maybe I'm just. It
did take a little longer, but like it, you know, it wasn't like whatever. It was one of those things that I was just like when Kemal sent, because what he did was send what you have to do when you want to take like a copyright strike off, is that you have to send an email to YouTube, the YouTube, the copyright email that they have. They have a specific email for negotiating copyright. So you have to send like a verbal thing to them along the lines of like, I, legal name here, remove the strike from this YouTube channel and provide the link. So he sent a copy of that to YouTube and to me. Yeah. So when I saw it got sent to me, I was like, I don't think he did this right. But then it got removed. So I'm like, okay, he did it. He sent it to YouTube and to me so that I had a record of it. So that's why that email is in the doc of him saying, I hereby retract my claim.
I would have asked him to like CC me into that email just to make sure that I have a copy for myself and be like, look, what's going on, buddy?
Yeah, of course, yeah. But no, it's gone. Like, trust me, I'm just as shocked as you are that I was able to negotiate that. Because for me, I was just like, talking to Kiro was the weirdest thing. It didn't make me nervous or anything, but just talking to him and having him respond and everything was just like, holy shit, you know? It was one of those things that was just why you are really invested in this as much as I am. Because when he goes into the emails, right, he like talks about my video point by point, and I'm just like, why didn't you just make a response video then instead of take my video down? Like, at least I would have respected that a little bit.
Yeah, sorry.
But no, you had to strike it.
Sorry, I got a bit starstruck here. Cecil just retweeted.
Yo, so, let's go.
I made it, boys.
Let's go. Let's go. She's the best. I love her.
She makes good content. Like, you make good content as well, but like I've watched her stuff before, and it's great.
Well, yeah, I mean, she went into great detail into that. It's because of her I figured out how dark it really got.
Oh, you know? I watched. I mentioned like in a brief conversation before the stream started. I watched the first Don't Fuck with Dogs to kind of like give myself a bit of a retelling of what was going on, like what happened when the story broke, because I knew what was going on. Like, I knew what happened. I knew the people that were in this thing. Like,
I didn't even know there was more people than Kiro, to be honest with you, when I started watching those. I'm like, who are all these people? And it's like, oh, they're all in it. That's crazy. Yeah. It's a ring.
Like, I knew about, like, I've heard of the names like Snake Thing and Sangi and all the other ones. Woof. That fucking, like, he's in my shit list. Like,
Wolf is a monster. He scares me.
Because I remember watching.
Horrifying.
Because I watched what's the Too Long Didn't Read of what Western of Kiro.
He fucked his dog. Everyone got mad. He said he didn't fuck his dog.
Yeah.
Everyone got more mad. The end. Like,
Yeah.
there was other people involved. They decapitated dead puppies. There we go.
There are videos out there. Loads of videos. There's Mr. Medica's streams. Cecil McFly has done some great videos. And of course, like, you got Lazy Bedhead's archive on
now
Cecil's
deleted
channel.
Archive because Kiro sucks. And I don't like him because he's mean.
Kiro has this. It's like Mundane Matt when that whole thing happened with the Boulder fiasco and.
To be fair, I think he just had like a mental episode. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like for him it was just
Mundane
like
Matt or.
Yeah, I feel like he was just like, my feelings are hurt. I just want these gone. For Kiro, it's more of just like, I want all this gone because it did something illegal and I don't want anyone to know about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he
like,
wanted
at least
to
Matt
keep it
can
quiet.
joke about what he did and acknowledge that it's like, that was kind of fucked up. But Kiro is just like, no one can know I did this. And if anyone says I did it, they're bad. And it's like, it's one of those, like, you know, gaslighting things where it's just like, you're ruining my life. And I'm like, you are the one who did the crime.
Oh.
I'm just telling people about it.
Like that. Like, that's the thing. Like, I've like, if my pet, like, died through, like if it was incidental or like accidental or like no fault of my own or whatever, like, that would cut me up. Like, that would really put me in a like a really shit mood for a long time. And with Kiro, it's just like, I don't know, like it's like, it doesn't just faze him. It doesn't. There's nothing.
What do you even do to that, honestly?
Like, at what point in your head do you just like switch off that kind of like compassion? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know either. It's strange, you know.
Here's a little funny little thing that I've kind of like highlighted that kind of made me chuckle a little bit. You did not even treat me like a human. You treated me like a predator and a monster while you dress up as a wolf. You want to be treated like be treated like that. There you go. You know.
Well, to me, I was just like, here's the thing, because when I talked to him about in my video, I said to my audience, hey, listen, you know what, this is about fucked up subject matter, but I have to emphasize, Kiro's not the worst person in the logs. Like, most of what he did, there are pictures of, and there's of course the Coda video from 2014 that Archive the Wolf talked about. Yeah. But in terms of just like, in comparison to like people like Wolf or Sanji, at least the guy wasn't like a murderer and a pedophile. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, you can kind of say borderline because he was like a liked cub porn, which is like underage furry porn or whatever. But like, yeah, that's at that point, that's just a drawing. You know what I mean? And I mean, for me, when I was looking through the logs, like, because the extent of what I knew about what was in the logs was from Cecil's videos and her reading through them, and that was only snippets. So I was just like, okay, maybe, because we mentioned we were talking about the Culthrix stuff, and Culthrix basically made the claim, like, he talked about it, but he never provided images, and I'm like, okay, so maybe he's not the worst person in the logs, because maybe he just spoke about it. And then I went to the logs, and there's like, videos he shared of him and photos that he claimed to be him of him like having sex with a fox that's dead. And I'm just like, okay.
Just your average Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, just like, here's some photos of me fucking a fox, and it's like, wow.
I've seen.
Can you not? I don't even know what to say to that. It's like, I didn't do these things, and it's like, you provided photos though. Like, what do you want me to just? Are you pretending that these photos were taken by you? Are you pretending you're the man in these photos? Like, I don't understand. But then you look and there's like actual photos of his fursuit,
his hands. Like, I think people pointed out certain characteristics
dog,
that he has that correlate.
There's just so much, dude. The logs are so long, and they're like, it feels illegal to look at, probably because it is. I shouldn't be saying that out loud.
at this point, it is just evidence. It's evidence for someone who's never going to go into a courtroom for it, and
it's because it's too old. That's the only thing.
That's the
Because
thing.
that's the thing is that, and I say this so often that I think I'm starting to get a headache. When something like this happens, and this is especially for cases that involve people wanting to see people go to jail, you cannot, for the love of God, you can't post the fucking evidence on the internet.
Oh,
because
yeah, no,
by
of course.
by then, it's going to get scrutinized by the public, and then the courts are just going to issue that as like, we can't issue that as real evidence because the public's already made their opinions about it and have already scrutinized it as either fake or legitimate. And it's like, no, guys, this is why the Onision stuff is so frustrating, because people are like, Onision, there's so much evidence of him going to jail. It's like, all the evidence has already been posted out on the internet. Literally, you can't use internet anecdotes in court.
I think that's
because the public eyes already scrutinized it to death, that an actual forensic team isn't going to be able to discern reality from what the internet says.
I think the one thing that annoys me is it's like the person who leaked the logs were just like, they didn't know who to turn to. They went to people in the furry fandom, and they were like, "We don't want to get involved in this." And it's like they go to Kiwi Farms, and it just, to me, that just screams that they were more, because I know the person who was a zoophile, and it's like they were more concerned about their own interests, so to speak. And that's what really annoys me, is that the fact that they were so they would die on that hill, and they would not go to the police for it. That's the thing that really gets my goat. Sorry,
that's
Steve.
The thing that bothers me with Kuro, is that even if he didn't do the things that he did, he confirmed when he made his My Side video that he talked to Snake Thing. They talked about, who knows? But he had at least had to know. He at least had to have known that Snake Thing, given what they talked about.
But don't you remember, the logs are fake? But they're real. But they're kind of fake. But then maybe they're real. Maybe they're not. It's so.
I don't know.
And that's the thing. Every time the logs get brought up, it's always, and I've got my own sort of, because I kind of investigate into this. I've worked in technology, and I understand how certain things work. Mm-hmm. And he goes on, because I read in the email, he says Telegram, back in 2016 wasn't as secure as it is now, and I kind of looked up and it's like, no, actually, Telegram, because I kind of watched this from Cecil's video as well, is Telegram was made by a guy who was criticizing Putin, and in Russia, it's like China. You say something that goes against the status quo of the government, you're gone. You'll disappear.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And that's why they had to make that app secure to the point where even China and other countries cannot hack into that account.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you can go into the logs or into someone's chat and change what was said or whatever. Because back in 2016, before the logs were leaked, we see that they implemented a new feature where you can edit the chat or the messages, but there's an edited tag on that message, and that was back in 2016.
Right, yeah.
And Kira, you can't just edit these things, even if you export these in HTML. There's got to be metadata that shows that you got this and you got this sort of editing of the thing.
That's the thing that really is weird, because for me, when I was talking to Kiro, he proposed that with the guy Zoodonym that we were speaking about, that you talked about earlier, he was like, I think Zoodonym's just trying to cover his ass and frame me for all the stuff he was doing with Snake Thing. And although I think that theory is interesting, I just don't see that being the case, mainly because the way Telegram works and how HTML is, And by the way, with all the people who claim it's hacked, like how the HTML is faked, anyways. So what we have with Telegram is that, and we were talking about this in the emails too. Like, he's trying to compare like 2021 Telegram to how it worked back then, which is not the context we're in.
No.
So we have to bring up how the context of Telegram worked
Back then.
at the time of these logs happening. First of all, Telegram, in terms of like if it possible Kiro being hacked, it wouldn't have been, because one, Kiro's already confirmed that the hacking story doesn't work. He faked that. But the way that he presented his hacking scenario was with the famous meme, the Iranian super hackers.
Oh.
Problem is, Iran doesn't have fucking access to Telegram. Like, they can't even get Telegram. So there's no way he can get hacked from Iran into Telegram when they're not allowed to get access to it.
Like, here's the thing, like, I can understand, like, hackers, you know, like Mr. Hacker, you know, why Iran? Why
I don't know.
Why that country?
Because of the VPN, probably, because the screenshot he provided to show that he was hacked had a VPN on it.
But it just doesn't make sense.
It still
like,
wouldn't
even
me. Work just because Iran can't access Telegram. So
it just makes me think like there's this massive like hatred towards
Iran.
Like no, like furries, like in Iran, like, they just hate furries.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Here's the thing: is that when I even was talking in my video anti-Kiro, I'm like, yeah, the hacking, sure, but like the people who are like constantly saying Kiro got hacked, like one of his friends, Kit the Soulless, who is known as the Nipple Hedgehog, for anybody who can remember that.
I'm aware of him.
He has been making the claim for literally years at this point that Kiro was hacked, and I have evidence of it, and he has never provided it. Like, I looked through all of his like social media trying to find out, did he post something? No, it's just been in live streams saying like,
I'm happy
the HTML was edited, the Telegram, like, he doesn't show any of the metadata. It's like, I can't take your word as gospel until you at least show me the metadata for this that shows that there was some tampering with, you know. And it's just like, I want the logs to be fake, because I don't want to live in a world where I have the knowledge that this happened, and that somebody with a huge influence, not just in the furry community, but in the YouTube community, who was featured on Shane Dawson's fucking channel. I don't want the reality to be that guy tortured a dog to death with his dick. I don't want to live in that reality. I don't want to have the knowledge of that, but I have the knowledge of that now, and I hate it here. I hate it here so much.
I feel like that Futurama meme, I don't want to be on this planet anymore.
I don't. Like, it's not fun anymore. This is the worst.
NFL Guru 22, like, kind of raised a good, like raised the point. I don't know if it's a good, you know, like it's a gotcha, but like it's Kiro equals Islamophobic, and I kind of realized, wait a minute, like, what is Kiro's sexuality? Is he gay or is he bi?
He is gay. He is gay. He
Okay.
had a boyfriend, and the funny thing about the boyfriend is that he mentioned the boyfriend in the logs. He had an internet relationship with a person named Il1 Sheppy Paws. And that person was mentioned in the logs a couple times. And the thing with Il1 is that he ran, I think it was Animals Dark Paradise. I'm pretty sure it was. I think he was an admin, but he ran a couple of zoo forums.
By the way, don't look up that website. By the way, people, don't go on. You don't want to be on an FBI watch list.
No, you don't. So when Il1 was running that, when that was revealed to the public, like, hey, Kiro's boyfriend, ran these zoophile forums, Kiro completely wiped his social media of any mention of Il1. But Il1's dead now because it was mentioned in the logs, and it was mentioned when Kiro made a video about a drug problem in the furry fandom. He mentions how his boyfriend unfortunately passed away from a cocaine overdose, I think, or something like that. And he was like, the furry community has a huge problem with drugs. And I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. But that person that died of drugs is also a zoo sadist who ran animal farm forums. And it's just, once that was discovered, all mentions of him were wiped. Like, Kiro never
which is
mentioned him
very
again.
interesting, considering
Oh yeah.
it might explain where he's got this behavior from. Maybe
It could be. I mean,
could be.
it could have
I'm
been
just
possible.
speculating.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, like, if one introduced him to that sort of thing, or if he was always into that. I don't know. It'd be hard to tell. I mean, he said he grew up, like, around, like, forest life, like, when he was growing up, so it was just like,
Yeah,
well...
but Kiro, like, people grow up in forest life doesn't mean that they want to fuck roadkill.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying, like, him
I
being
know,
in that
I'm just-
environment and also having that interest, it's like, oh, get that man out of the forest, dog. Like, you gotta get him away from those fucking deer. Get him in, like, put him in, like, the city where he's not near anything. Like, just
Put him
don't.
Yeah, just put him in like a massive like metropolitan area and just like leave
Just
him there.
put him anywhere where animals are not gonna be hurt. That's all I'm saying. It's
So
gross.
So here's a point that I've kind of like highlighted on the emails, and I've made this point like a couple of times because I made videos on Kiro when he came back, talking about like some of the things, talked about the logs briefly. I'm kind of still thinking maybe do a video on the people in those logs as well that were kind of implicated with that.
I know Archive did. Like,
yeah,
he made tons of videos about all the other people that were involved in the logs that I didn't even know.
I
really
think
there.
I think I'm kind of like hesitant on doing it because I want to retain some humanity. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I think if I've read all the degenerate shit that went in those logs, I think that bit of like humanity would just like be snuffed out.
We can't hate the entirety of humanity just because some of them ended up being like dog fuckers. Like, those people aren't even like part of the human the human equal at all. Like, most people are just gonna look at these people and be like, you know, we don't associate with you whatsoever, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why Kiro gets so frustrated when people don't treat him as human. It's like, of course you don't get treated as human. You fucked a dog. No human wants to associate with another human who does that. No human wants to call that person a human.
I just like I'll mention this point after this. Like I kind of like I looked into, like, you know, because I think Coda had like a kidney problem, like kidney failure.
Yeah, he did.
And that, you know, I looked up the causes of that because I thought maybe, you know, like, what if that was unrelated? And I think the main common, you know, like, causes of kidney failure in dogs is a bacterial infection, and that is mainly because like dogs do not have as a robust immune system as a human does. And like the worst, like compared to like dogs, like the bacteria in like a human's mouth, there's more bacteria in a human's mouth than there is in a dog's mouth. So that might explain why.
Basically, Kiro gave Coda AIDS, and that's how we got to here, everybody. I'm sorry, that's awful. I'm sorry.
No, it's I mean, you know, that's what happened, isn't it? You know, like, not
I don't
word
want
for
to
word,
think
but,
that's what happened, but that's what happened.
but it's just like a dog died from kidney failure, and like those are the main common sort of symptoms that causes, I mean, of the, you know, and I think I looked into it as well. Like, a dog can also be infected by infected deer.
Oh, really?
So even then, it's kind of like, you know, you know, do you know what I mean? Like,
I know, I get it. It's just,
but
it makes you squirm. Yeah.
So he went on to say, the past 3 years of my life have been hell because of the whole scandal. At this point, I want to be left alone. And my point to that is, why did you get involved? Like, why did you put a video out there to say, I'm back, and you DMCA someone's video, and you're in the center of attention? And
I think the thing is that Kiro is the type of person that really wants his cake and to eat it too. He wants to come back to YouTube. He wants to continue to be part of the furry fandom.
But he knows
he
no
wants
one will...
to be innocent, but he also wants to strike down videos that talk about what he did, debunk what he did at every turn, yada yada yada. It's just like you can't have both, you know.
Yeah.
You
So I
can't
just got
come back to the furry community.
I just got to quickly clarify this to Super Genius. No, he didn't give his dog AIDS. That was a hyperbolic exaggeration.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to imply. Let me emphasize everything I say. Everything we're saying right now, we're talking about, is of course still alleged, because whether we like it or not, Kiro is an innocent man because he was investigated for 2 years. He did not go to court for this. They investigated his stuff, and even though it was white,
I'll kind of mention that in a little bit as well. And like it really like fucking angers me, because it's just like,
I don't blame you. It angers everybody that talks about it. It angers a lot of people just for the purpose, like, if you think about it, you know.
Yeah.
Dogs can't talk.
No.
I mean, we like to think we understand dogs to an extent, like when they're talking to us and barking, we're like, we know what they want, but we don't know. Dogs can't talk.
Like here's the thing, right? In like, I think a couple of days ago, I got into a bit of a Twitter beef with someone on Cecil's like mentions. Like, someone was
was she going off again on some zoophile? Because that one's shocked.
There was a guy called Kintsugi.
Okay.
And I
think I bared witness to this.
Yeah, K1NSU61 on Twitter.
Oh,
that's his Twitter handle, and he is fucking like, he's gone by this point, because he kept trying to, because I basically like got to the point where I was just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, he was putting up like graphs, studies into like sexually pleasing animals and things like that, and it's just like, why? Why are you trying to justify fucking the dog? Do you know what I mean? Like, I said...
Oh, for sure.
And, like, here's the weirdest thing. He was saying that he was very against, like, artificial insemination of, like, horses and cows and things like that. And but you know...
But putting your own semen in
that was
is fine.
That was in a little term that I like to use. You know, the gun was Jamaican. The gun's Jamaican. He was fine with that. He was fine with that.
Oh my god, that's so
and
stupid.
I just challenged him. I was like, and he was saying, oh, you know, dogs and animals can consent because they do things like they do that little play bow thing where they, you know, when
oh my god,
stretch their back, arch their back
that's just
up,
somebody who
like,
doesn't understand what human dog language is.
Oh, and
like,
it fucking, I got to the point where I was just like, what the fuck? What are you on about? Like, what are you talking about? And it's like, he's trying to be this intellectual, like, Sargon, where he's like...
That's what all of these people, like, all of the people who justify this sort of stuff is trying to do. Is that, you know, they want to associate themselves with, you know, valid communities just so that... And then make these arguments why they deserve to be in these communities. And it's just like, this stuff isn't meant to be argued. You know, like, being gay is not a sin, but wanting to fuck your dog is, and to compare yourself to LGBTQ is so offensive. It's like the gay people just want to get married to people they love. That doesn't mean they want to fuck their animals. Like, you know what I mean? It's so offensive. And I'm not even gay and I'm offended. Like, I'm just like
it's like,
I'm sipping out for my gay peoples. Like, you guys aren't dog fuckers. These people are, and they're not associated with you whatsoever.
Like here's the thing. Like, I don't care if you like men, women, whatever. I don't care, because it doesn't bother me. You know?
It doesn't ruin your life.
No,
it doesn't impact it whatsoever.
But if you say that, oh, I like kids, or you like animals, and you look at my cat in a certain way, I'm thinking, oh, get the fuck out of my house. You know what I mean?
Like, and that way it does kind of affect the people around you, because if like, for me, it's just like, do whatever you want as long as you're not hurting anybody around you. Having sex with animals and having sex with children does negatively affect people. No matter what way you look at it. All the studies show that gay, not harmful. Having sex with dogs, very harmful. Like, it's just like, you can find, and here's the thing with all these people trying to be pseudo-intellectuals, like bringing up their graphs, like, oh, this is a graph that shows it isn't harmful. Like, literally, the internet is so vast with misinformation. I can find an article of some guy saying the sky is fucking pink, and they would have brought up, like, all these graphs to make the shit up that the sky is pink. Like, you can't believe everything you see on the internet.
I
mean, sometimes you can, because we're talking about, abusers who have confirmed and have said that, yeah, these logs are real. And that's the thing that's so weird with the Kiro stuff, is that most of the other people who are part of the logs say, yeah, the logs are real, we were part of them. But Kiro, for whatever reason, when it comes to him, it's like, no, the logs aren't real. That's what's so confusing. It's like, everyone else has already come out to say, it's like a majority vote. Like, you know what I mean? 9 of them say, yeah, it's real. Kiro's like the only one playing his own ballpark game saying it's not. Like, it's just like, get with the program, dude. Like,
like, here's the thing. Like, out of all the people that were implicated in those logs, that were investigated and they were charged, the only one person who's supposedly okay or like not involved in this or is innocent, it's just the one guy who's like this popular guy in the community. And it's like all of the other guys, no, they're monsters, they're disgusting, they're abhorrent, they're repugnant, they're this, they're
Imagine
that,
if
monsters.
Snake Thing got away with it. Imagine if Snake Thing is free today and he saw this video Kiro made. Oh, he would go ham. Like, he would be like, nope, Kiro, I know this is you. Here's the worst things you sent me. Like, you know what I mean?
Can we not have, like, someone from those groups be like, just come out with a video and just say, like, look, this is me, I'm of sound of mind, Kiro is full of shit.
Oh, for sure. I'd love that.
That would be like...
The only person that can confirm whether Kiro is as fucked up as we all think he is Snake Thing, because he's literally the only person who spoke to Snake Thing, you know? And for me, it's just like, I wish he could confirm or deny all of this, because he's the only one that really has access. He was the one that gave Pseudonym the logs in the first fucking place, you know? And when he talked to Colthrix, when he made his video, he literally just bullshit and says, like, we rolled with a fantasy, and it's like, he sent videos to you and photos. What do you mean we rolled with a fantasy?
It's just locker room chat.
Oh, yeah, no, you're not Donald Trump. You can't pull that shit.
It's just locker room talk.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Whatever.
It's just, you know.
Yeah,
To be fair, though, how do I word this? I can't sympathize with Kiro, but I can understand someone going through a controversy. Like, a controversy like this is something I don't think any of us really have ever seen before. Like, we've talked about, like, pedophiles on YouTube. It's like, yeah, that's expected. There's been pedophiles on the internet forever. We can talk about people preying on others, abusing women, like, stuff like that. We're just like, yeah, we expected that. This is the human race. But getting accused of necrophilia, zoophilia, and pedophilia all at once, at the same time, in the same day, it's like, how do you cope with that? What even is your response after that? It's like, that was all in the same day. Like, it's like, I wouldn't know how to handle that either, to be fair. I'd be like, why? Like, how do I even go about even talking about this? Because, like, what in the fuck? And, you know, when Kiro talked to me in his emails, he says I'm not very well spoken, especially when getting accused of stuff like this. And I'm like, I get that. Like, I'm not the most well spoken person either. But I wouldn't go about going around telling one person on an interview, yeah, they're real, and then another person, no, they're not real.
Fake. Like,
and then reiterating the idea, I'm still hacked, guys. Like, you can't, dude. Like, it's obvious from when he was talking to me that he's seen my video, right? So that means to me that if he is giving people all of these copyright strikes, and he is describing in detail to me what I said in my own video, then yeah, he watches videos on them. So he has to know that people know that the logs are real. The hacker excuse isn't gonna fucking work. the HTML like faking logs could be possible, but most people didn't doubt it. Like, it's just, if you really want to come back to YouTube and address all of these accusations, it is going to be really difficult for him to do, because it's been years upon years of so much shit coming out all at once that addressing all of it would probably take Kiro
The
forever.
thing is, like, he's had a chance to talk about it and like refute all these claims, and he hasn't done that. He
just doesn't, because he can't. I don't think so.
He can't get his story straight. Even the people around him that he talks to, like, intimately, like, and I don't mean that in a sexual way. I mean like close to him, possibly intimately, like in that way. But like they can't even get their story straight. You know, the logs are fake. The logs are real. Some of them aren't. Some of them are. It's just locker room chat. You know, I was hacked. Wait a minute, I wasn't hacked. And it's just like, what is going on?
The thing is, with the other people involved in the chat, most of the people either have charges on them already or have confirmed that they are real. Like Sanji has charges on him. Snake Thing went to jail because of the things he said in the chat to Sanji and others. Wolf confirmed they were real. Some other person confirmed they were real. A lot of people, Glow Fox, like, they were all like, yeah, unfortunately the logs are real.
I want a video.
Only person.
I want a video where you see, you know, Snake Thing go like, yeah, they're real.
Because he was the one that provided them in the first fucking place. Oh. So I need him to come out. Well, he's in jail now, so he can't do this. But I just need somebody to come out and say,
Can someone call him?
I have no idea.
Is someone able to call him and be like, "Yo, Levi, what's going on, What's going on, bro?"
It'd be interesting. I don't know.
I'm surprised no one's done that yet.
I'm surprised either. Well, that's the thing, is that everyone wants to interview Kuro and everything because he's the only one that's denying it. And it's more interesting to talk to somebody who's just constantly in denial than to talk to somebody who has been either convicted or has confirmed it. I mean, it would be interesting, but it wouldn't be, you know...
It wouldn't be anything...
It wouldn't be as much of a shit show,
It'd be like, whoopsie-doo, Basil, whatever. Like...
Yeah, exactly, you know?
So, here's the thing that I've kind of like... I highlighted, and I was like... It got me, like, thinking, like, you know... It basically sent my brain to overdrive.
It made you think for a minute.
It activated the Ormans. Where is it? I had the picture of it somewhere. I've had a screenshot of it. Where is it? Yes, here we go. So he said, I had my devices confiscated and searched. Now, I think he said that was the reason why he was unable to create videos for the past 2 years that he was off YouTube, but that's complete bullshit. You go onto his Patreon and you can see that he's been uploading videos on his Patreon concurrently since the scandal broke out to now. And it's like, let me have a look. Like someone, because I found this on Kiwi Farms, like McBitty Paws on, I think that's Discord. I don't know.
That's her. She's McBitty Paws on Twitter and on Discord. Like, that was a Discord conversation she had, basically saying, we've been in contact with the lead investigators. They have confirmed that the devices that Kiro has handed to us to investigate were encrypted and wiped. So literally they couldn't really get into it because the fucking thing was literally untouched, like non-touchable since the beginning of this, you know? And for me, it was like the only reason that the confiscated stuff got wiped in the first place is because we posted the fucking logs on the internet, which gave fucking Kiro leeway to be like, oh shit, all this stuff's coming out on me. Whatever else that I have right now, I need to get rid of immediately.
Oh yeah, because he was given the heads up, like, you know.
Oh, absolutely. That's why I keep saying to people, like, don't fucking post this shit on the internet.
Like the
Catch
guy,
me by surprise.
The guy who leaked it was basically John Revere, you know.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You yelled, "The British are coming," and it just like, well, he didn't say that, but that wasn't a thing. It wasn't real. It's fake, fake story.
It was fucking. But
he didn't say that. It was real.
But McBitty Paws said they can only do a couple at a time, and they seized about 30 some from Kira's apartment. 30 drives.
Good lord, man.
30 hard drives. And I don't know if they're like 500 gigabytes or whatever, but like 30 drives. Do you know, like,
Damn.
to have that many? Like, I don't have that many.
I don't either. I don't have any at all.
I have two separate hard drives, and I've used one for like work and the other one for like YouTube shit to like archive stuff because I can't rely on this fucking thing.
Oh, I don't blame you.
But yeah, it just seems like, you know, Kira was unable to, or was reluctant to work with the FBI, even though he says that the FBI found him innocent, which is not true because he really only found to be innocent in a court of law.
Yeah, that's the thing that I think I need to emphasize and explain to people, because people don't know how like any of this works because they watch too much fucking CSI. First of all, investigations like this do not take a week. It takes years and years to get to a final conclusion on shit. Second of all, the police are not allowed, well, they can, but like they're not really in authority to verify innocence or guilt. Their job is to gather information based on the accusation of a crime, present that to a judge, and then issue a court of arrest or a search warrant or something like that to investigate this further. No arrest can be made until someone of the law gives officers the arrest warrant to be able to issue that arrest, to be able to put them in jail, and then to put them like through the court system to trial, you know, that sort of thing. All the police have to do really is gather evidence. That's their job. They cannot confirm guilt or innocence until a court law person in like the actual law system decides, okay, we need to issue this guy to go to prison immediately. I mean, and then we have to bring this to trial. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's bureaucracy behind it. You know, especially in America, you can't just arrest someone, throw them in jail, and then, you know, they're in jail for X amount of time until they come to a conclusion. And that's not just how it works. That's like you're going back to Nazi Germany, where like they just arrest you on the spot, put you into jail, and then do they care? Maybe not.
Right, yeah. Like people, like the police, if they were given the power to determine innocence or guilt, it'd be fucking Judge Dredd. Like fucking.
Yeah, like the police would be the judge, jury, and executioner in this case.
Yeah, but they're not. They're just.
Unfortunately.
Well, fortunately and unfortunately, but literally all a cop's job is, and all an investigator's job is to gather evidence, to send off to a court, to issue an arrest, to then have them go through trial to determine innocence or guilt. So the fact that Kiro keeps saying the police found me innocent means fucking nothing. It means nothing, because that's not what their job is.
It doesn't mean like that he doesn't have this attraction to animals. It doesn't mean that he has this, you know, this sexual desire to you know, dominate a dog in a certain way. You know, it doesn't mean shit. Like he could still be, yeah.
It especially doesn't mean anything in the case, because it's like, from where Kiro is from, you know, these charges, you know, there's not a lot of laws dictating what like animal like protections like these. Like he's from Pittsburgh, so the statute of limitations for crimes of like animal sex abuse or animal abuse in general is 2 years. These logs by the time an investigation started, which was like in 2017, like a year after, it had been way too late by then. So really, it's like the evidence is too old, and the evidence has been put out to the public and not sent to the police. The only known evidence that was sent to the police that wasn't aware to the public was a video that was of Coda getting sexually abused, and that's too old. Pittsburgh doesn't, as far as I'm aware, doesn't criminalize zoophilia in any way. I'm not sure, actually.
I don't know how.
I really don't, actually.
Like, but
point is, the only reason Kira was able to get away with this is because none of the evidence was like new enough to convict him, and I'm just gonna blatantly say it: animal like rights in general is shit. Like anywhere in the world, even you might think that even in America we have it a little bit figured out, but no, here it's even worse. Like it's not even worse, but it's still all bad. Like we haven't given animals like any sort of rights here. That's why we have like organizations like ASPCA and stuff like that. Like those organizations wouldn't even exist if we criminalize this shit. But since we don't, they're working their ass off to try to make this aware to hundreds of people that this sort of thing happens. You know, we don't like to talk about it. Police don't like to fucking talk about it either. But we have to acknowledge that it's a thing, because then more people like you are going to get away with it.
Yeah. One thing I want to kind of point out as well about the hard drives, about like, because I know, I don't know who confirmed it, but they were unable to find anything on the drives, and they said that some of them were encrypted. The only reason why I think they couldn't find anything on those drives is one or two theories. One of them being that he managed to magnetize the drives, which I don't know how to, like you need a very strong magnet to do that. Or because I know like Apple has this reformatting function on disk utility where you can set the secure wipe to the most secure, and that being, it's basically the FBI level of wiping a drive.
Damn. Alright.
Because the way how wiping a drive works is when you reformat it and you wipe it, it basically takes away the pointers of where data starts and where it ends. So you have a text file, and like it's there on this disk, and that's where it starts, that's where it is, and that's the data in between those points. And they take those points out. But if you completely wipe it to this method, what it does is it sets all of these little nodes from like 10110 to all 0 across this one drive.
Oh wow! Really?
And if these are mechanical drives, like 1 terabyte can take about a day to scan and search for data. So no surprise it took so long.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But that's just my theory. That's my game theory.
For that, yeah. Well, I mean, you understand like the process of understanding like the drives and everything, and like the whole technical aspects a little better than I do.
By the way, I'm not a glow in the dark. Before anyone asks, I'm not. It's just I just know technology, and I've mentioned this before.
You know it better than I do.
I know.
I mean,
I find technology cool.
I don't blame you. Like a lot of people do. It's something that dictates our lives, and it's something that, in cases like this, you know, puts people in prison.
Definitely.
Yay.
But here's the thing. This is the smoking gun. And you've highlighted this as well.
This is my favorite part. Yeah. I already know what you're talking about.
I possibly would not have filed the strike against infringing content. No, wait, sorry, I messed that up. Sorry. If you had not told a non-biased, if you had told a non-biased account of what happened, I possibly would not have filed the strike against infringing content. And it's just like, dude,
that's not how that works.
That's not.
No, like, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, right? We can debate forever till the end of time whether Kiro is guilty or innocent. We can debate that probably until like he actually does get convicted, and then we can be like, oh yeah, you're guilty. But and my thing is, like, with Kiro being investigated, he has been innocent, proven innocent until, well, not proven innocent, but he has that, you know, innocence until proven guilty, like all people should. What can be confirmed 100% without a shadow of doubt, and what I have revealed, is that Kiro the Wolf is somebody who is using the copyright system to take down, you know, people who apparently have the biased opinion of him being guilty, when in reality, people who think he's innocent is also a biased opinion in and of itself. Because the people who think he is innocent are furries themselves. You know, I have not seen one single person, one singular person who is not a furry who thinks he's innocent. But you know what I have seen? Both furries and other people outside of the fandom think he's guilty as sin.
Oh yeah.
So, saying that I have an unbiased opinion makes no fucking sense, because the fact that him being innocent is biased in and of itself, because anyone who's ever argued that is themselves a furry or is part of the furry fandom in some way and is trying to ensure that this famous furry isn't convicted of this. You know what I mean? So for me, when I went in to go to make my video, you know, I went in with the knowledge from watching Cecil's videos and being like, okay, this is pretty bad, but is there a way this could be hacked? Is there a misunderstanding? How much is there on Kuro? After all the research I've done, there's a lot. There's quite the shit ton of it, actually. And for me to go into my video after doing all the research I've done and telling the internet Kuro is not guilty, it's like, you can't fucking do, like, after all the shit I know, it's like, dude, I can't just go on the internet and say Kuro is innocent. Like, I can't do that. Like, after everything I've seen, after how much to the extent of what it went to, it's like, dude, this is nuts. You can't do that, man.
You would
just be honest. You would just be dishonest at that point. Like, that's just you blatantly saying, I didn't look into all the evidence, but I still think he's innocent. I've looked into all the evidence, and I'm just like, I can't. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, it's like he tells you to not give to give a non-biased opinion of what happened, but he's asking you to give a biased opinion about something with him behind you to tell people what to say. Like,
oh yeah, like the fact that he says you should apologize, like you need to tell people this, like it's just like
when he said that, oh, you need to do a video of you apologizing, and it's like the only thing that I can think of that reminds me of that is when Jim Sterling did the whole digital homicide video, which is one of my favorite videos of Jim Sterling at the moment. And he basically did a couple of critical videos about this Steam company that were just basically asset flipping and ripping people off. It got to the point where it got ugly. They served him a notice to be like, you need to come to America to do this, court hearing and everything, and it got ugly to the point where he was able to talk about it, and one of the terms and conditions was like, right, you need to take down the video that talks about us, you need to do a video for a span of 10 years to say that you're sorry. And it's like
it's extortion is what it was. I didn't even realize it really was until I showed the emails to Cecil, because she was kind of like, how are you dealing with this whole Kiro thing? And I'm like, I was going to be honest with her, because I'm like, she's been investing in the Kiro thing for years. So I'm like, well, I'm going to talk to Kira, I'm going to see how it goes. And she's like, all right, I guess. And then I'm like, all right, I want to show you the emails before I post them to the public, because Kiro said I could. So I'm just like, I'm just going to put them in a Google Doc, make it easier on my life, so I can put it on Twitter and on my community tab, because that's the two biggest social medias polls I have. So that's, people are going to be able to see it. And then she read them and she's like, dude, this is crazy. You got extorted. Like, he's making demands of you. That's not how fucking copyright works. You don't make demands after you take down a video. What does he think he is, the fucking Godfather? So she's like, you need to make, a thread about this. I'll help you write it. And I'm just like, damn. So when she wrote the thread and everything, I was like, okay, fine, this is how I'm gonna put it and whatever, and I decided to post it out there. It had the teams at Team YouTube. I knew it wasn't gonna do anything because it's just gonna be automatic bots responses, but I did not expect them to reply the way they did with this little tidbit that I think is hilarious. When I tagged Team YouTube saying, hey, listen, Team YouTube, I have verified confirmation evidence with these emails that I was given permission to post, that Kira the Wolf admitted himself he took down my video because he didn't like what I had to say. That's what he said. That's the thing. So...
And then YouTube came back with, you need to take down the
Yes.
tweet that showed.
I will read it. It's so funny. Only a court of law can determine if your content falls under fair use. If you think the claim was done in error, you can file a dispute. Also, note that YouTube cannot metadate with copyright claims. We also recommend deleting your tweets as you might have shared confidential information you were unaware of. So I was like, I know this is a bot response, but I was still kind of concerned. I'm like, did I? I don't think I did. So I told them, hey, listen, if it's about the emails aren't private. I was given permission by Kiro the Wolf himself to release the emails, right? And they basically told me, we're referring to personal information being shared in your tweets. And I'm like, where? Like,
bitch, where?
Where? I don't know where. And everyone's just like, is this a threat? They're like basically like, you have to take down your tweets because of personal information.
I think I reacted to this.
Where?
I can't remember what I tweeted, but I think I did react to it and be like, YouTube, what the fuck? Again.
Here's the thing. Like, if I had posted personal information of somebody, that's against Twitter TOS.
Yeah.
Twitter would have reached out to me and said, like, hey, listen, you need to take this down, or we will, or we're going to, like, ban your account or suspend you. Why the fuck would Twitter, the Twitter account of Team YouTube tell me to take a fucking thing down when
here's the thing, right?
They have no control of that anyway? Like, it's like, that's so... Why? Here's
the thing. It's a bot response, right?
Oh, for sure.
How the hell would it know the tweets that you sent prior to that one?
I have no idea. I have no fucking clue. I think like
is Skynet
when I was watching
becoming a reality?
Tipster's, when I was watching Tipster's live stream, he said basically the private information could be his own name, which was in the actual like emails.
But he's already put that out as public information anyway with his PO box. So it's been out there for like 3-4 years.
Oh, for sure. So I'm just like, what personal information? Cecil's like, there is no personal information. They're just being dicks. And I'm like, of course they are. Like, like why do I have any, like, why do I expect anything less than from Team YouTube, the wonderful system that they are? You know what I mean? Like, that's not shocking to me. It's, I don't know. It's just...
Can I just point out, by the way, like, who asked to the other, like, to see if it was alright to upload the emails? Like, who was the first one to instigate that?
Kiro did. Kiro was like, hey, listen, like, it was in his second email, he said... Can
I just say something?
Go ahead.
What fucking idiot would, like, say... I took down the video because it didn't agree with my narrative. Can I put the emails up to say that?
Oh my god, yes. Well, he said we can put them up for transparency's sake for our audiences.
Like,
and I'm just like,
hell.
I told him in the next email reply, I'll bring it up because I have the doc in front of me.
Like,
because I knew we were gonna go over it.
What are they putting in the fucking like punch bowls at these anthrocons and rainforests and shit?
I don't know. I don't know, dude.
Oh, shit. Yeah, something. Where is it? Where is it? Because he mentions about the whole like, I went to. Hang on, I gotta find it. Where is it? He says. What is it? He says, you got your information wrong. You said that I went to like cons with my suit on, and
I didn't say that, by the way. I
no,
want
you
to
didn't.
Make that perfectly clear.
I rewatched that clip. Yes,
his
I
friends
agree.
did it, not him.
And that leads me to believe that he did not watch the whole video. He just saw you were talking about him and just took down the video.
Well, yeah, for sure. Well, for me, it was just like, when he said that part, I'm just like, maybe he just misheard me. Because what I was talking about was Ashley Zoe Fox. And her friends took Kiro suits in a social experiment, as Ashley says, and basically wore Kiro suits to a con. Plus, on Twitter, I think people were being like, hey, listen, Kiro is going to cons incognito. Like, with a, he had like a furry ahegaho looking like, ski mask thing, and glasses and a hat, and he posted that somewhere, and people are like, Kira's going to cons looking like this. If you see this man, it's Kira the Wolf. So it's just like, first of all, you're just bullshitting. Like, you did go to cons incognito. Your friends were your fursuit around. Like, I'm not. Maybe you just misheard me, but it's just like what I said in my video. The only thing I might have said that might have been incorrect was that I said that when he made his My Side video, that he was making the claim that he was hacked again, like he was still using that defense, which he wasn't. That was just my misinterpretation of it, because when he was saying like HTML can be faked, like going about how things can be faked, I'm like, is he trying to emphasize that it could be possible that someone hacked his account and faked the email, like faked the exchange? That's what I thought, but that was just like me being misinterpreted. So that wasn't even on purpose. That was just me being like, oh, he's saying this is all hacked and stuff, meaning that not hacked. This was all faked. HTML can be faked. I'm like, okay, you're making the defense of being hacked again, to say that they hacked you and then faked your things. It was just, that was probably the only thing. But other than that, I'm pretty sure everything I said was public information that was put out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like,
but when it talks about like the email stuff, he, in his second email, he said, you can put this out for transparency. And I'm like, okay. But I was like, so I basically told him, I'll post the conversation to be perfectly transparent, but I'm warning you, with how people online see you, posting the emails aren't going to look well in your favor. You know, like, granted, it might not. I think,
part of me thinks that he wants the attention, and I think he maybe this is like.
Part of me just thinks he's fucking stupid. Like,
yeah, no, I think he is.
You
I
can't
think he
read
really
the emails
is, like,
and honestly think that Kiro's on the right. Like, when you look at the emails and read what he says critically, and you read the part, I wouldn't have taken your video down if you had only been unbiased, if you had like, or whatever. Like, if you read that part, like, it's like, what else does that translate to? What else are you saying?
Like,
other than I took it down because I didn't like what you said.
If he's able to just like be open and say that and change his story from like 2 interviews, like within a matter of like 16 hours, and like, I'm not surprised if he is that dumb.
He is that dumb.
Like, and a part of me just thought of this, like, maybe this is like the fucking hard seltzer that's talking at the moment. Do you think that this was supposed to be like a good PR stunt? Like, he took down someone's video that was talking negatively about him, and then because maybe this is the reason why he was open to talk to you about this sort of stuff, and like reply to your emails to say, okay, look, I'm willing to do a deal with you, and say, look, you got the information wrong, and everything, and because that seems like that might explain why he's doing this. Like, maybe he's just trying to not only, you know, to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, like shut someone up about this whole thing, but to kind of be, oh, actually, he's a good guy, and he's actually taken the fucking strike down.
I think that might have been it. I think for him, it would have been like, if people see that I negotiated with someone who doesn't like me, then I can possibly be seen as a good person that doesn't like support copyright abuse and stuff like that. I think he's just trying to avoid another scandal with this. Like, he's trying to be shown as like this good person who's just like, hey, look, I don't support the copyright abuse system. And it's like, yeah, but you still do, though.
But here's the thing: he doesn't want to get involved He doesn't want to get involved in another scandal. But he just fucking nonchalantly walked into another scandal.
Oh yeah, it was just the whole motive behind why he emailed me, why we had this conversation at all, baffles me, because I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, it's just like, what do you think you were gonna win? Like, literally with what you have just said, do you think you were gonna win? Because I don't think you were, and I don't.
No,
think
he's not gonna win.
No.
He like the fact that he hasn't taken the L on this whole thing.
I mean, he hasn't really spoken about it like since then. He hasn't tried to contact me or anything.
I don't think he ever
Granted,
will,
I haven't blocked him and everything, so it's not like he can't say anything.
I don't think.
But the only reason I blocked him is because I don't want anything to do with him. Not because I'm scared of him being like, you fucking release the emails, and I'm just. It's not like I'm. I don't like confrontation. I'm usually someone that gets very anxious about confrontation and everything. So I don't want that. It's not that I blocked him because I was nervous or anything. I blocked him because I want nothing to do with him.
Which is understandable.
I don't want.
It's like.
I don't want anything to do with him. Period. Like the fact that I had to negotiate with him in emails, like I felt like a piece of shit because I'm just like I should fight this, but the idea of Kiro knowing who he is, knowing how much he lies. He said in the emails, I would never put you in the situation where you get doxxed because I've been there too. I'm like, you're fucking lying to me. I know you'll dox me. Like, it's obvious you don't like me. Like, you calling me a liar, someone who's unbiased, like, all this shit in the emails. To then suddenly being like, but I like your videos. I think you're really funny. Like, the emotional fucking flip-flopping manipulation. And notice in the emails, he doesn't talk about copyright once. All it is just, you said this and I didn't like that. You said this and I didn't like that. I'm like, but this is about copyright. If you didn't like what I had to say, and if you thought I was slandering you in any way, saying things that weren't true, why didn't you file a complaint to YouTube for cyberbullying and harassment, or at least slander and defamation?
Because I think with that, it needs to be checked. I think that's why. I think the DMCA is like an instant, like, bam, done. Like, it'll be taken down.
The DMCA is easier because the DMCA is fucking broken. That's why.
Which is, yeah. Like, here's the thing I've kind of, like, discovered about Kiro, and it's just, like, he's a fucking bully. That's the thing. That's the thing, like, because I've seen it with, like, when he uploaded the video, the My Side video, and that whole shitstorm happened. Let me see if I can I... Actually,
are you talking about when he was, like, shaming people as, like, mersuiters, like, right after the video came out?
Oh, yeah. Let me hang on. Let me get the image up.
Okay.
Because it's, like... where is it? Give me a minute now. But it really frustrated me, because it's just like I just, like, responded with, like, okay, dog fucker, like,
yeah.
But it's where is it? This is the one. Whoa, okay. That's a big boy. Let me just shrink that. I kind of mentioned this in the chats in my previous videos, but he says, tall fuzzball, telling people not to watch my video isn't nice, though seeing what you've become, I wouldn't put it past you. Also, have you told your fans about your mersuiting adventures? Basil, right? Purple deer suit. Still funny how people think you're rated G, and then after that
it's so weird that he would criticize that, because on his channel there is videos of him talking about the sexual side of the furry fandom and how he was if I can find it,
he was against
there was a video,
or like he was.
I don't even think he was. I don't really remember.
It's weird because it's just like, yeah, because he kind of like flip flops about mersuiting.
He does. Like, he made a video, this was probably years ago, mersuits are okay. Like, there's a mersuit video he made 2 years ago, talking about mersuits being fine and whatever. So, the fact that he's, like, coming to this person being like, you're a mersuiter, so why should anyone listen to you? And it's like, what do you mean? Like, you're just upset at this particular mersuiter for mersuiting because they called you a dog fucker. That's the only reason why.
And he follows it up with, well, it doesn't matter, you've been dead to me for years, we were friends, but now I don't what was it? I can't read that properly.
We were friends, but now I don't see that ever happening again. Yeah.
I need to get my eyes checked.
To be fair, we are not friends anymore from Kiro. I am now friends with this person is more of a blessing than a curse. You know what I mean?
I would just responded with, okay.
Good.
Good. Fine. Great. Bye. See ya.
Fine by me.
But then there was another thing, and I think it involved PK Rusi.
Oh, PK Russell.
PK Russell.
Yes.
And where is it?
He didn't say anything on Twitter, did he?
Not him, but he respond. Oh, no, Majira. Sorry, I got involved. I got mixed up with Majira.
Oh, because PK I think came out in a video and he said that Kiro's guilty as sin. Like, he's guilty as hell. I defended him in the past, but that was my mistake.
Let's see this.
And the thing I appreciate with the
there we
PK
go.
stuff is that he said that I kind of perpetuated the idea that Kiro could be innocent with my videos, and it's like, yeah, you kind of did. You know, you kind of muddied the waters in a bit that was kind of like, you know,
Yeah.
that could have implied his innocence when there just wasn't any possible. The only conclusion you could come to with seeing all the evidence out there is like, if he's not guilty, he was at least complicit of knowing this stuff was going on and not saying anything about it.
Yeah. I've got. I've got some points about these fucking people. You know, like how I feel about these.
Yeah.
And the people who watch me know how I feel about these people. But yeah. So I don't know what the tweets were prior to this, but someone said, "Nice job outing someone for something that wasn't even half as bad compared to what you did. If you're going to blackmail someone as a form of defending yourself, it's clear that you have no ground left to stand on, and you won't be given ground." He responded with, "He's one of the people that almost pushed me over the edge to sunset myself. I don't care."
Sunset.
It's a Ralphism.
I love that. I'm using that. I'm using that from now on. Sunset myself.
I just kind of like pick that up, and it's like I don't want to get this stream demonetized by saying, you know,
the thing.
KMS.
Do the thing.
I don't care for your feedback. This is between me and him. And then Kerfuffle said, "Correction, between you and him and anyone who sees your public post in capitals. If you really wanted to keep this between you and him, I'm guessing you wouldn't send a public message." And Kiro said, "I'll take it down if he apologizes. That's all I ever wanted." Again, it's just that sort of behavior where it's just like, I'm not happy with him.
He's a bully.
He is.
He's a bully who demands people apologize to him. It's like, why do you care so much what people think about you? I mean, I get like what people think about you is illegal and it's crippling, but at the same time, it's like, if you believe in your innocence so much, why would you ever let what I said especially get you so badly that you want to take it down with a DMCA? Like, if you really believe in your innocence that much,
that's why
a video coming from somebody who only had like 6K at the time or something like that.
That's why I think
wouldn't even matter. Like,
that's why I think it's a publicity stunt. It's just to try and make him look good.
I know. Well, the thing is that I don't even think it's to make him look good, really, because I think he's doing all of this, the DMCA, getting in touch with me, all that stuff. I think it's because he thinks he can get away with it. I'm small. Like, I'm smaller than most people who've talked about this. You know, people like Cecil McFly have made videos talking about my side, which is the content he's struck in the first place.
It's one of my first videos I've done, and I talked about it, and it's still up for now.
Unless Kiro finds you. But
if he strikes me, I'll take his fat ass to court and I'll live stream it and make the whole court watch every Cecil McFly video, every Mr. Medico video about him, every video that I could find on him, and I'll be like,
he's bad. Like,
is my opinion still biased, or is my opinion non-biased? And I'll just drop the mic.
Yeah, and then walk out of the courtroom.
I wouldn't care.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that, like, I wasn't the only one that got false DMCA'd for talking about the My Side video. Archive the Wolf also got falsely struck. And the only reason he did it to me in Archive was because we're small. That's the only reason. He knew he can get away with it because our following, both on Twitter, well, Archive's following's a bit bigger because people who are interested in the Kiro stuff followed him strictly for him to talk about all the evidence and stuff like that. and that's where people get most of their information from, was archive. But when we started making our videos on him, Kiro really got upset and was just like, I need to take these down. And it's like, but why though? We're so small. Our videos aren't going to go about that. I mean, granted, my video did very well for what it was. And I was just like, oh, that's all right then. That went better than I expected. And I appreciate that a lot. I'm just like, wow, that did very good. I'm very proud of myself. And then it got taken down, and now I'm stuck in this mess. And now everybody knows me as the kid that got bullied by the dog fucker.
No,
Fantastic.
I think
that's my legacy.
I think now that we're talking about it and we're getting it out in the air, and you've said your piece, and I think we kind of like we've hashed a few ideas out, and in the idea of, well, maybe the reason why he's doing this is because of X, Y, and Z. I just realised I think this Twitter thread is in continuation of those two tweets that I've shown earlier. Because Majira says, I always wanted what was best for you, even after this shit started. You were a good friend once, but it's clear that meant nothing to you. You lied to me from the beginning. I've no reason to apologise anymore. Kiro says, I want to apologise for my earlier tweet to you. I have removed it. But I have been through hell for the past 2 years, and when the three of you blocked me out, it hurt so much. I want to have closure with you. Message me if you want. It's not. If not, that's fine. Yeah, I wouldn't feel bad if I don't message him back.
Isn't that guy below the one that's verified? Isn't that one of the animators for Zootopia? Is that? Because I saw that was a thing, and I thought that was the most funniest thing on the planet.
Oh wait.
Right there, Joaquin Baldwin. I don't know if that's him or not.
Give me
a
minute.
Think you'd have to actually, yeah, please verify if that's him, because I remember that was a thing, and that was the funniest thing on the that was the best thing the internet has done. Joaquin,
where is it? Not Phoenix.
Baldwin.
There's no rising from the ashes on this story here.
I know, right?
I'd fucking piss on the ashes if I'm honest. Oh my god.
Internet stuff. It's Discord.
It's alright. Yes, he's a layout supervisor.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Hang on. I'm gonna. Where is it? Where's my mouse?
Animation department. Baldwin is a writer, director living in Los Angeles, California.
Oh, sorry.
Specialized in animated films.
So there you go, people.
Oh yeah. That's great. Oh, I didn't know he was in Raya and the Last Dragon. I didn't know he worked on that. That's kind of cool.
He was in.
Oh, he's in a lot of. Oh, he's got a animation, a lot of stuff. He did Moana. He was a layout artist. He was the layout supervisor for Zootopia, Big Hero 6, Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah, he was working on all of these. That's actually really funny. That's great.
Even Hollywood was like, nope.
No.
Even Disney said, ho, fuck off. I can't do a Mickey Mouse impression. That was more like Oswald. Oh, fucking hell.
That got people so pissed. I was telling people how, like, when I was talking about furries, that furry culture, like, furry characters have existed since Mickey Mouse, and that was just me, like, kind of giving, like, a general statement.
I tell you what.
It wasn't true. Everyone was just like, they've existed since, like, Egyptian gods, and I'm like, I didn't do that much research, okay? I was just giving an example of a very well-known furry character, and it's Mickey Mouse that comes to me. It's like, what about Oswald? And I'm like, I don't fucking listen. I'm talking about dog fuckers. I'm not here to talk about the history of all furries. Like,
no, I think there is some half like truth. I think when you have a look at like ancient Egypt and you have a look at Greece and Roman times and all that, and you see these depictions of like half animal, half humans and things like that. I think
that's a little different though.
You don't see a guy like up behind them. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't see...
Right.
You don't see it go to that extent. It's like, these are creatures that are deadly and dangerous, and you shouldn't be nowhere near them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, for me with the Egyptian gods and stuff, is like those. That's a little different because they were still like animal heads on human bodies. They definitely had more. They were definitely like animals with human characteristics, but they were also animals with human features, hence anthropomorphic, hence furry. But like
yeah.
for me, it was more like that's more of like what I would describe to be like a reverse mermaid or something
I
like
would
that.
say like yeah, I would say the
It's
introduction of like
more,
animation and things like that. Like there's actually
oh
like
yeah.
there's actually a rumor. I don't know if this is true or not, but I've heard that Walt Disney, the creator of Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse, enjoyed his creation so much so that he was actually given a gag gift from his animators.
I think I
And
know what you're talking about.
yeah, you see where I'm
Is
going?
it is it the sex tape?
Yes, yes. The first I don't know.
Listen, here's the thing. Okay, so the story I heard about that is that a bunch of animators in the studio did it as kind of like a gag gift joke for his birthday. What happened was is that Walt Disney got like entertained it, but once the birthday party was over, he fired all of them immediately and got rid of the
Wow.
tape. So it's apparently lost media, but no one has ever been able to verify or validify the existence of it. So I don't know if it's even really true,
I'm
but
sure
I
Walt
like to
Disney
think that it
Jr. has
is.
it somewhere.
I'd like to think that it exists somewhere out there, like in a vault.
It needs to be like the JFK tapes. I want the I want the Mickey. I
I
want
would love for that. I want Walt Disney to post it. I want like the Disney company to find it in a vault and be like, "Wow, why don't we just put this on Disney Plus as an exclusive?" What Disney didn't want you to see.
welcome to
That
Disney
would be
Channel.
the best shit on the. That would be funny. Well, considering how much like pedophilia happens in like the kids' entertainment aspect of like Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, it wouldn't
Oh,
shock me if they were
fucking
just like,
hell.
"Here's a sex tape of Mickey Mouse." Like, why not?
Even Mickey Mouse is not protected.
I know. Oh, the sacredness. It can never be preserved. It
No,
sucks.
it has to. Everything has to be tainted. Um,
Everything has to be tainted. That's like a demand. Like, you must make porn of this. If it's not tainted, it's not real.
someone said the tape is out there with the Holy Grail.
Oh,
That
so
is amazing.
She's gonna
Um,
sniff where I've been laying
oh,
and then leave.
this is your dog, isn't it? No.
Yeah, it's my doggy. This you are the reason why I made that video reel. Cause I look at you and I
Yeah.
think, who would ever want to hurt you? And then I remember Kirill the Wolf exists. I'm like, oh him. I forget.
I think yeah, like I think that's something that people need to like. People who have pets, like if you have a pet out there, like give them an extra treat, give them an extra pat, or like give them a little cuddle and things like that, and just give them a hug
Hold
and
your pets close to you.
and just let them know like just tell them like you're so lucky to have like us here to give you this life, you know, of luxury.
Yeah.
Um,
I see, and you know, I look at her and she was a little bit of a stray kind of. She was came from these breeders who just kind of wanted to get rid of her. So when my mom picked her up, they just basically threw her through the passenger seat of the car. She paid for it and everything. Like she it's not like they gave her a free dog, but like the way that they was handled was so ghetto that it was just like these people are sketch as hell, you know. And they don't even know what breed she is. We think she's like a boxer Australian Shepherd, which it kind of fits because she's short and chunky.
oh,
But she's adorable, but she's also a little goofball. She has one broken leg that is like that forever.
oh.
And she's got one lazy eye, so one half of her just looks messed up. She's a little special, and we love her. You know, we love her so much. And I look at her, and I think about where she might have come from, being that she came from a sketchy thing. I'm just like, could
That,
you know? And
like,
I have like an aunt who was in the veterinarian field, and she has examined her and been like, there's probably some signs of trauma that she's going through, like with her behavior. And I it's like the people that do this stuff to animals I just want to punch, because it's like those things can't defend themselves. What do you gain from doing any of this? Like, it's not like, I get it, it's for the power and whatever, but it's like
It,
they
like,
didn't do anything to you. They just want to love you, and you just want to do that to them.
like
You know?
it really, like I've said before, it just angers me. It's just like, it's this sort of mentality of like, it can't say yes or no.
No, I
Like,
can't.
This goes back to that guy that I had this Twitter beef, this Twitter argument with, this fucking big brain fucking intellectual, saying shit like, oh, animals can consent. And I said to him, well, no, animals don't know what you are.
Right.
Animals don't
They
know.
don't choose you either. Like, that's the
No.
thing that's always gotten to me too,
And I
is that
think,
animals don't choose us. We choose them. We tell them, you're going to be living with us and you're going to be our pet. They don't choose that.
no,
You know?
but they're happy to be given food every day, have a little wash if they wanted to or not, and have a walk, have an exciting adventure every day or whatever,
Yeah.
Uh,
Like, as if you give them that, they'll be like, okay, I don't know who you are, but like, I'm glad that you're giving me this. And then after like a year and a half, they'll be like, you're my person,
yeah.
So I'm
But
just
there's
like,
no, they don't have that idea, and I tried to explain this to them. It's like, animals don't know what you are. They just
right.
see you as an entity. They don't understand. They don't, because
What they understand about you is that you give them food and you call them a good person. You call them good, and
Oh
they're
yeah.
like, "Well, I want to be good." So they're just like, "Yeah, I'll stick
If you
around
have
with you."
if you have a dog, then like, it's like, oh, fun times every time. But when you have,
Oh yeah, for
like,
sure.
if you have like a cat, then it's like, oh, slave is feeding me now.
My boyfriend loves cats, and I'm not like allergic because I grew up with cats, but like I think over time I've just grown this like allergen to them where they make me itch. So for him, it's just like I always want my own cat. Whenever we move out, I want my own cat. So I'm like, well, we can get a hypoallergenic cat, and one of the hypoallergenic cats were like Sphinx cats, like the naked cats.
Yes.
And I'm so down to get a naked cat, and he's like, no. And I'm like, I want to get a naked cat. I want to name him. Testicle. This is what I want.
No. I would call him Golem.
Gollum.
Golem.
Yes. If we get to name him at least Gollum, maybe he'd be down for it, because he's into that whole fantasy, the fantasy like worlds and stuff. I don't think he's ever actually seen Lord of the Rings, but he enjoys, that the whole worlds like that, fantasy, knights, dragons, medieval.
I just want to quickly point this out. Bobby made a very good point here. Animals can choose people, and I think, yeah, they can. I think you just need to give them like that, like.
They need to at least establish that bond with that person before they choose that person. Like, if they come to, like, I guess they could choose people if the person gives them the amount of attention that they can be like, oh, I can choose you and you'll be mine. But if a dog will remember if you're abusive too. Like, it's like, a dog doesn't, like, will react to you the way you react to it. If you show a dog, like, I hate you and I want to abuse you, the dog's going to eventually develop like problems. He'll develop like these sort of things like, where he'll attack people for no reason, and he won't know why. It's just
it'll be sending mixed messages, like, because it doesn't understand.
Right, it doesn't.
And like going back to Kiro, and I know like we kind of talked about him a bit, but it's just like, I think with his, like, the big victim, the main victim being Coda, like, say the dog's name, Coda, because that is the real victim, and he even expressed that his regret for what he did, what that was.
Yeah, in the logs, he literally is like, after all that stuff I did to him, I can't be part of the logs anymore. It's like, what stuff did you do to him?
But he's like,
but we know that now because there's a video of it.
But
that's the worst part, is that He was so brazen, you know.
He said he had 2 puppies, didn't he?
I don't think so.
He did.
He probably mentioned like one from his childhood. He mentioned, you know what you might be thinking of. He talked to Snake Thing and he said something like, I had an event when I was a kid, and he's like, "Ooh, story time." He's like, "Yeah, I had 2 puppies and I was playing with them
That's
and
the
I
one.
fingered their butts," like something like that. And it was like, ew. First of all, they're puppies. Leave
I
them
just,
alone. Gross. That's nasty, dude. But
I just,
it's that and Karma too. If you don't know who Karma, I don't know if you know anything about Wolf or anything, but the Kiwi Farms community named the dog that Wolf tortured with a stick that had
oh
fire
no,
ants on
that
it. They named that Karma because Karma was gonna bite him in the ass, and it definitely did. Because now
yeah,
he's like on a blacklist.
good.
Yeah,
It's just
fucking
like yiff in hell.
yiff
That's
in
that's
hell.
that's my yiff in hell.
Yiff in yiff in hell.
Um,
Seriously.
it's like these fucking people. It's like
I don't know. It's for me, like for the whole case on Kuro, like because he hasn't confirmed anything, it's all still alleged. And I've always want to make that important with, especially with how I've been handling my channel recently, that everything I talk about in terms of the people that I talked about are alleged.
yeah,
Even though most of the people that I've talked about on my channel, they've pretty much self-admitted the things they did. Like I talked about Hopeful
yeah.
Lucille, who was in the animation community, and she admitted, yeah, I was in a relationship with someone who was legally not of the age of consent.
Like
Um,
like if you have a look at my channel and you have a look at my videos, like I tend to do like look at like some of the lol cows. Like I've done a Mobility Mary video. I've talked about Savannah Mom, the TikToker mom, who her surname throws me off. The TikToker mum who like doxes people for the sake of like she didn't like their opinion, and
yeah,
people who like just do things on the internet that kind of like make me interested and just want to find out a little bit more about them. And Kiro is one of them because of this ludicrous story where like, you know, I've tried speaking to people about this and like they can't believe like the things I tell them. I tell them like this happens and they just look at me like, what, you know.
yeah. Well, I mean, you can't. Part of you just kind of looks at it all and be like, you can't, this can't be true. Like you don't want it to be true because it's so gross, you know. And I don't want it to be true either. You know, I don't want to have that knowledge that I know this, but I do, and I feel like given like what I have talked about on my channel, it would be morally irresponsible of me to not bring this to the attention of my audience. You know, if
Yeah.
I, because the way of how I've handled my channel recently, um I'm not trying to go in the direction of Chris Hansen, but the way the videos that I've been making recently, I kind of, and that was completely unintentional. Really, I just kind of saw these topics, and I was just like, wow, you know, the fact that nobody really talks about this stuff or how educates people on how to prevent it is kind of, you know, or even how to handle it is just kind of upsetting because it's like, you know, this wouldn't happen as often if people just knew what to do. You know, so that's why I do talk about the people I do talk about. And even though I emphasize this is all alleged, the people I talk about have self-admitted to the stuff that they did. All of them but Kiro. And Kiro's response to what I had to say was just to strike me down and shut me up. Which, either way, it's just like, no matter what way you look at it, uh, he doesn't come out the good person. Like, if I had kept the strike on my channel and didn't fight it, the worst that would have happened to me is that I couldn't upload content for a week. And then the week goes by, I can upload content again. Everyone thinks that Kira's a false
The thing
flagger
is,
and thought that this was bullshit, and then whatever. If I had, you know, now that I have the emails, I release the emails, everyone sees that he admits that he's a false flagger. Everyone still thinks it's bullshit. You know, either way, it's just like,
sorry, I think with this situation, because I know like you've been struck down, and it just kind of occurred to me like, what if there's more than this one channel? Like, there's probably more smaller channels that have been like have been
They've been
struck
struck.
down and have followed a similar path where they got in contact with Kiro or not got in contact and kept quiet about it because they didn't know what the repercussions would be, because some people might not understand what the what it would mean to kind of like file a counterclaim and all that.
Yeah.
If there are people out there that have been struck down by Kiro, I would like them to kind of come out and say, yeah, this happened to me.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I wish there was a way because they did this with Monday Matt too, when they basically told him, show us your strike history. I want to see if there's a way we can look into Kiro's strike history, because I can't be the only one.
You know, there's only one way to find out, and that's Iranian super hackers.
You gotta call them up and be like, hey, listen, you hacked him the first time. Can you get into his YouTube now?
I need to call in a favor. Can you like just do this one for me?
Yeah, right.
Just do me a solid.
Do me a solid and hack Kiro's account so we can look at his history.
Again.
You have to keep your solid or else the world will fall apart. You know that, right?
Fuck's sake. I was like looking up like all this stuff on his Kiwi Farms thread like last night, looking it up, like looking at all the information, looking at the evidence that was available, and like I kind of like slept on it a bit and woke up and I kind of thought to myself like, right, let's have a look at this in this way, and like I know I fucking hate him.
Oh, I mean, I despise his guts as much as you do, trust me. But the thing is that if I were to go into his inbox and blow the fuck out of him and be like, hey, listen, asshole, whatever, he wouldn't have removed the strike anyways. No. To be fair to everyone who's reading the emails, me coming across the way I did, one is just naturally how I handle things. I try to take them as nicely and maturely as possible. Even if I'm talking to the most detestable human being on the planet Earth, I still want to come off as like respectful, generally speaking. But for just in general, like what I would have said to him is that I don't fucking like you and what you did was bullshit. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like I did this civil act to be nice to Kiro and be friendly with him and be friends with him. I did it because I know what he did was fucking bullshit, and it just makes me so mad.
I personally, I just find him abhorrent. I just find him absolutely fucking disgusting that my soul like cringes when I see his face. There's just something in me that just screams like like Alex Jones bit. It's just like it's just there in me. That's just like warning me like don't trust your pet with this guy. That's just my
right.
But yeah, like I kind of thought about this today, like looking at some of the stuff and like watching the videos and things like that, and I just got to a point where I just had this moment of clarity, like look, he got away with it. We can't do anything else other than that unless there's like new evidence, like recent evidence.
The most recent stuff that came out is that somebody got into his Reddit account that was connected to him via his Gmail. The stuff that he was posting on that Reddit, fuck, like it's bad. It's
really
just
bad.
like, dude.
I think I've seen in the screenshot. I think Archive the Wolf like posted that, and
I think there's more chat logs that came out too at some point.
Oh god,
which is fucking crazy. I'm like, what the? No, you can't. Like, why? But also, full disclosure, I have to mention this because in the I said this in the emails that I was like, you could argue that you could have taken down Archive stuff. I only said that just to make a comparison. I think Archive's video is 100% in fair use. Like, that shouldn't have gotten struck down either. That's bullshit. The only reason I made that comparison, because if you were to watch my video and his video reaction-wise is more pausing the video, talking over it. He has edits and makes memes and whatever, and that's 100% in fair use too. But
it's transformative. That's just how it is.
It's transformative. And I agree it shouldn't have been taken down. But if you were to compare it to my video, where most of the video was my face, And when I saw that I got struck by Kira the Wolf claiming that he owns the content, I'm just like, Kira doesn't fucking own my face. Granted, he probably owns the content that Archive the Wolf was transforming. Like he can legally like say, yeah, you know, just pausing the video, adding your commentary and whatever isn't transformative enough. But literally, it was just like my face the majority of the time, up until we get to the response part of the video. It's just like Kiro doesn't own me. Like he doesn't own my brand or
But
my
even
face. He just
even
owns the video that I slightly used
Yeah.
for like 5 minutes.
like that
Give me
video,
a
like
fucking
that
break.
cumulative like amount would make up like 5% of the 95% of your video of other clips that you found and you've put into that. It's a complete fucking spurious DMCA claim that he's put in that just it shouldn't have gone through. But
Yeah.
he got away with it. You know, we got to accept that. You know, he's a free man. You know, and I think Bunny Sango, Kiro will slip up again.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I wouldn't be shocked.
I hope.
I wouldn't be surprised because
He could. I mean, I just don't doubt for a second that he like the video I made. Kiro really tried in the emails to make me feel guilty about the video I made, but I'm just like, no, I know I'm in the right.
But he fucked up when he said, "Do you wanna make this thing transparent by putting out the emails out there?"
Telling everybody, it's like if I show these to people,
even though I told you I took down your video because I didn't like the narrative you used.
I know, it's so dumb. He's not smart. He's not smart. He has.
By the way, sorry if I had to go to the ASMR sort of like sound just then because I wanted it to like tell people like, look, this guy is a fucking moron because he tried to extort you, and then said, "Oh, can we put the evidence of me extorting you?" Which is illegal, by the way. Which is fucking illegal.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, my thing, I don't know. It's something that I think is a combination of a couple of things. One, it's how the YouTube system works and how fucking broken it is that it allows stuff like this to happen. And even when I presented them, like, listen, Team YouTube, he's extorting and using your system, they're just like, you know. I think another part of it has to be like, for me, I don't want to blame myself. When I look at it, I'm just like, I kind of set myself up, you know, for this deal to happen. Because I was the one that said, listen, Kiro, I won't even upload the video again. You know, because for me, it wasn't even about keeping the video up. It was just about getting this fucking strike off. Because I went in with the mindset, I can only upload 15 minutes of content now for 90 days because of this strike. If I had known, like, going into it, that changed, I would have just kept the strike on and be like, forget it, you know? But with me, I was just like, I don't want the strike on my channel. This is the first time with me dealing with copyright. I don't want to take this legally. I know it's illegal, but I just want to negotiate this outside of a court of law.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Kiro, this is what I'm willing to do so we can not handle this, you know, with the court system, you know, and then just kind of gave him an offer. And I shouldn't have done that. I should never have negotiated with him, not for a second. There's no way I should have.
Look, I think the way you got to look at it is, like, you went down the route of, like, you wanted to try and talk to him, but I think what you've done really is that you've got your strike off your channel, which is a big fucking bonus, but you've actually shown people that he wanted to extort someone that didn't like the narrative that you were, like, expressing. You know, which is the right narrative that, you know, for the past 2 or 3 years prior to the leaks being brought to light, you know, he was being hacked with it without his knowledge, with the same sort of lexicon of you know, words and language that he used during those 2 years, the pictures and videos that he put out there of a stunt double or body double, whatever. It's just it's so ridiculous.
Oh yeah, and for me, I know I shouldn't have. I didn't want to negotiate with them, but I was thinking about my family, you know, and they are more important to me than YouTube legal bullshit, you know, and if I wasn't living here and I had my own PO box, which I didn't know you could do this, but if you get like served this sort of thing and you want to fight it, if you don't want to give your public information, you can just leak a PO box. And the thing is with me moving out and everything, I'm moving into an apartment. So for me, if I gave Kiro my personal information, like, here, this is the apartment I live in, if he doxes that, he's not just doxing me in my apartment. He's doxing the entire fucking building. So that's not just a lawsuit from me. That's a lawsuit from fucking the entirety of the building I'd be living in. So if I were in that situation, I'd be like, yeah, this is fine for me to get doxxed, because literally Kiro would have to deal with an entire apartment complex getting pissed at him about it. But it's my mother. My mother, this is her house. This is a place where my siblings live. And for that to get posted to the internet for all these fucking furries to come in and try to harass us is the scariest thing. And, Kiro even says so himself, like, I would never want to put you in that scenario, because I was put in that scenario as I was scared for my life, And it's so funny, because it's just like, yeah, but if this sort of thing happened to the people that were accusing you, I don't think you'd bat an eye. I don't think you would. Because I think you would be like, you get what you deserve for putting me through 2 years of hell. And it's like, well, okay, fuck you,
Bloody Sweet Zombie Girl, she's tweeted saying exactly, and the fact that nowhere does he talk about copyright, the reason for the strike.
Exactly. He doesn't discuss it even once.
And prior to that, they said, but has he really, in relation to him getting away with it, I think, so many people are aware now and watching what he's up to. I think he's, like, what I meant by he got away with it is in terms of legality, like he's
not facing like legal consequences. He's not going to prison. And to me, it's just like, okay, for me, it's one of those things where it's like, according to the laws of his own state, he couldn't face consequences regardless. So really, if you want him to face consequences, he would have to be in a completely different state anyways. So I'm like, okay, fine, Kiro, you, by the state's own law, you might not be able to face the consequences. However, the internet's going to be on your ass for the rest of your life. And for me, I'm just like, I'm more okay with people constantly, like, the court of public opinion determining him, like, guilty than I am, like, actual courts. Mainly because actual court is corrupt as fuck, and they never get it right. So, I trust that we got it right on this one, I don't think if this went to court, some lawyer is going to pull some bullshit out of his ass and get him a get out of jail free card. Like, there's plenty of cases of people who obviously committed crimes, should have gone to jail with it, but because they got a good enough fucking lawyer, they got away with it. Because the fucking system's so corrupt that it's like, it doesn't really matter if you committed a crime. As long as you get a good fucking lawyer, you can get out scot-free if you wanted to. A good example of that would be the case of, what was his name? Eric Couch, I think, which, if people don't know what that case is, this rich kid, who comes from a very rich family, caused the vehicular manslaughter of like 4 to 5 people, and he faced no consequences for it because his parents bailed him out and got him a good fucking lawyer who said, oh, he shouldn't face the consequences of his actions because he has affluenza, which is basically having so much money and wealth that you can't possibly understand the consequences to your actions. And it's like, if that guy can get away with it, I'm convinced that this system doesn't fucking work. He feels no remorse for what he did, because he's a fucking rich asshole who just, like, ran his car into a bunch of people, families, kids, whatever. And he's just like, yeah, I'm rich, fuck you. It's like, his mom literally, like, she did this illegally, but after the court case, after he got out, he was given, like, 10 years probation, or like 10 months probation, and has to do community service. Instead of doing that, his rich ass mother decided to take him over the border to Mexico to party it up. And then they got arrested in Mexico, and then he had spent a month in Mexican jail, and then he was sent back over to America, where he is a free man today. So I'm just saying, Kiro the Wolf going to like facing this in court, he would have gotten away with it anyways because YouTube was probably kind to him and Patreon was probably kind enough that he probably has the money for a great lawyer.
That wouldn't surprise me if I'm honest.
Right.
I think I'm going to make this last point, and I think because it's getting like very late for me.
It's very. What is it, like 12?
But I think I think I'll leave this one point. I don't wish like any harm to Kiro at all. If I'm perfectly honest, like I fucking hate his guts, but I don't wish like anyone would to actually fucking follow through with it, like shoot him or anything. I don't wish that upon him.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't want that on anybody. Like, it would just make you as bad as him if you were to actually go out and try to kill him. And like, what does that prove? That just makes you a murderer. That doesn't make you, I mean, in your head it might be like justifiable because you did something horrible to animals, but in the end it just makes you also a murderer. So, it's not good to wish death on anybody or wish that somebody has a horrible day. It's more of just like, criticize that person for their actions, and if you think they deserve to get like consequences, like face consequences legally for that, and they don't, the most you can do is spread awareness and make people aware, hey, this person did this, and that's all my video was to spread the awareness. Hey, he might be back on YouTube, but reminder to everyone, this is the type of person he is.
Yeah. I kind of thought about like he mentions like someone rocking up to his door with a like a weapon of some sort.
Well, he said he was afraid that was going to happen. I don't know if he ever actually mentioned that.
Well,
but
he's still alive and he's taken down videos about him, so I think he's all right.
Yeah.
He's more worried about that.
Yeah, I think he's doing great, actually. I think he's doing just fine.
But even if someone did do that, like,
where would be the loss? I'm just kidding. No, we can't say that on YouTube.
Would we be happy?
I'm sure a lot of people would be rejoicing, if that were the type of thing that happened. Because some people are just that passionate about this, that seeing the death of somebody who did this sort of thing would be enough.
I think for me,
but
I would rather he suffered. But I don't wish him any,
Yeah, I don't wish him any ill will. I just want him to leave me the fuck alone. Like, I don't want anything to really do with him.
Anyway, so Lazy Bedhead, everyone. It's been very eye-opening talking about this, this degenerate.
I hope to never talk about him again.
Me too.
He gives me very much pain.
I kind of like
sadness.
Like talking about this guy, like I got to a point now where I think like I didn't really make that much content this week as much as I would have done.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think I wanted to get this out the way, talking about all the things he's done. And now that I've done that, I can leave that behind me, and I can just forget him and just leave him in the past now, and just be like, that's it. There you go. I can get on with my life. I don't have to talk about him. I don't have to think about him. He's just history now, and then people can just.
It's just weird that I'm part of his history now, because everyone's just like, oh, this YouTuber got struck, and now she has this email exchange of him admitting that he's a false flagger. Like, I'm part of his history now, whether I like it or not. And I'm just like, fuck, dude, why? Like, no.
Until he, I'm happy to just leave him behind in the dust until he fucks up again, because he's a dumb fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But there you go.
Here I am. Here is the wow.
Wow.
It's been a weird last 2 weeks, and the thing is, because I've been working so much, I haven't really had enough time to really respond to any of it. So I appreciate this opportunity a lot, actually.
Oh, my
'Cause-
pleasure. Like,
wow.
because I know like when I messaged you on Twitter, I kind of didn't think much of it, but I just thought, what the hell? Like, I just thought, let's see, you know.
Yeah.
But I'm actually like, like, really glad that actually you did respond, and to talk to you about this. It has been,
Well, yeah.
it it, it, it just it's a bit of like it's just shooting the shit, isn't it? Like, you're just talking about it and you're getting someone else's perspective.
Me getting well, that's the thing that's so weird, right? Because there was a lot of people that made videos on this, and getting Cecil's perspective before I even made the post, getting to hear what Tipster had to say about me. I was literally in the car driving home from work when Irate Alex made his video, and I watched it with my boyfriend, and he read out the whole text document, and just hearing him read it back to me, like, it's you don't understand what the manipulation is until you actually have somebody read it back to you. Like,
Mm.
that's the crazy thing. I'm just like, wow. Like, reading this back, I'm like, this guy's an asshole. And I'm like, wait, I was the one that talked to that guy. Like, that's so weird. And all these people talking about this whole situation is so, it's like, why? Like, I didn't want that. Like, I mean, I did, but I didn't. Like, this is weird. Like, I should have just been a nobody that stayed that way, but now I'm part of Kiro's history, and it's like, what have I done? Who are we? What timeline is this? Like,
uh, one of the best timelines.
it is, because
Because
it's a
it's just,
timeline that shows that Kiro's even more of a piece of shit than we thought.
I mean, I'm living in a timeline where I have to worry about a fucking Chinese rocket landing on my back garden. So, like,
That's great. I'm glad that you're in that timeline.
because
No,
you've heard about that, haven't you? Like, the whole, like, Chinese rocket that's in orbit that's been lost control.
Oh,
Like,
yeah. I want to know where that is so I can stand underneath it and just be like, just take me out. I know too much. Just take me out. Just take me out now.
I was gonna say something, but I don't think YouTube would allow it. Just organize a certain get together. That's all I'm gonna say.
Set up a meetup on Facebook, being like, meet here at this location. We're gonna have the biggest orgy of our lives before this rocket fucking hits us in this spot. Hey, if I'm going out, I want to go out banging, okay?
Well, I was thinking more for a certain culture that partakes in the degeneracy of what we talked about. So.
Get them to gather all there. Gotcha.
Just like,
that'd be a way to take care of them. I mean, what else are we gonna do?
just, I don't know. But no, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, Lazy.
Oh yeah.
Thanks for.
I'm sorry if I kept you up so late. I talk a lot. I don't know.
It's
if you
fine.
can tell.
I'm a bit of a night owl anyway, and these guys know that I.
Same. That's why I want to work night shift, but I worked literally the worst shift ever, and it's the worst. Although I worked like 12-hour shifts for the past 2 weeks, and when this whole thing was going on, my phone was just blowing up at work, and I'm just like, I can't have my fucking phone blowing up on the job. And I couldn't respond to any of it, and I was just like, I just gotta wait till I get home. And then when I get home, it's like my phone is just I'm like, what do I do with this, man? This is what? All right, now I'm here doing an interview about it. Here we are. It all comes full circle. I'll get to it eventually.
No, it's been a crazy few days. It's been a crazy year. Let's be honest.
It's been wild. I mean, I'm enjoying 2021 a lot more than I'm enjoying 2020. That's for damn sure.
I did not expect 2021 to have Kiro to come back out of nowhere.
I didn't expect for 2021 to be the year I turn into a Chris Hansen, get doxxed by a dog fucker, get told that I should feel sorry for the dog fucker, and then have everyone be like, fuck the dog fucker. You did a good service to us by giving us this information. I'm like, you're welcome.
Eve, what's next?
I guess you're welcome, everybody. I don't know.
No, I think what you've done, like, inadvertently done, really, was you kind of shown everyone that actually he's just an extorting piece of shit.
Oh, for sure. He's a coward and a bully. You know,
Exactly.
That's all I think of him, really. I've made it clear when I was talking to him. Let's say I was like a much kinder person or a weaker person or whatever. Let's say I gave into every single demand he gave, you know, demanded me to do. What if I gave an apology and stuff like that? That would have looked so bad for my part. After all the things I said, people are like, "Why are you apologizing on behalf to the dog fucker?" And it's like, I'm not. So I think that's why we ended up agreeing on the terms that we did agree on, because he knew he wasn't going to be able to argue with me or puppet me into saying, "I'm sorry, Kiro." Like, I told him, if I did that, if I literally just went online and been like, "I'm sorry, I lied about Kiro the wolf," it would have been a bold-faced fucking lie. Like, I was just like, I'm not going to lie to you. I think you're a horrendous piece of shit.
Again,
what I said and how I've been acting on, like, social media, I don't regret for a fucking second. Because what I did is not even half as bad as the shit you pulled.
Yeah. I think... Again, I think it is just a publicity stunt. I think it is just he tried to make him look good by like.
It didn't work.
But it didn't work because it actually made him look even worse.
I imagine like his publicity team. Like, imagine if he just like had like that, like a publicity stunt team.
Hedgehog
like
nipples.
Anytime
McGee.
There's stuff that comes out about Kiro, they just are like, oh, fucking like they just can't.
Nipples, nipple hedgehog McGee fucking told him it was a good idea, and
I wouldn't be surprised.
Nick Carroll, we kind of like, I think we're kind of wrapping up, but yeah, we talked about Kiro and my special guest who Lazy Bedhead was a victim of a false DMCA strike, and she was just talking about her experience with that.
It's been a weird few days.
It's been
it's been
wild.
weird. I haven't seen a single video that's been when people talk about this. I haven't seen any of his like defenders who were defending him about the dog fucking stuff. I've seen none of them come out at least talking about this.
Nah,
which
I think
I'd be shocked if they did. I want to see at least one furry come out and being like, she's actually not a victim, like whatever. I want to see that. I want to see that and laugh. I want to see that and just drink.
I think he I think people will probably say that the emails are fake or some shit.
Yes.
I think he will come out and say the emails are fake, and the person who filed the false DMCA was someone pretending to be him.
I'm the Edward Snowden of the fucking furry fan.
And I think the only reason why he would say that the emails were faked is because they didn't start with arf arf.
Yes.
This is how like fucking stupid we got to this point.
It didn't start with arf arf. That means it's not me.
Okay, the emails were sent by Iranian super hackers.
Start with arf arf. No, yes, Iranian super hackers talked to Lazy Bedhead and negotiated a deal. That I can see, because Iranian super hackers sound like the type of people that would want to make a negotiation like this.
And now that we're joking about it, they're gonna clip this and like use it as their defense.
Guys, it was Iranian super hackers all along.
You fucking idiots.
What a dumbass.
Oh,
that's funny. That's some funny shit.
I'm glad that we ended on a happy note.
I'm glad too, because this whole stream has been talking about things that make us want to cry. So to end it off on a positive note, the Iranian super hackers did it, guys. It was all a dream.
Jeez.
You know what this is? This is a simulation.
This is a simulation in a simulation within a simulation. That's what we're at. It's like that Rick and Morty episode.
This is in Kiro the Wolf simulation, but it's somehow malfunctioning because he's supposed to look like the good guy, but he's not. He's like, fuck, it's not working. And I'm like, yes, I'm the virus.
It's set to like nightmare mode.
Where he can't win no matter what.
It's just an L wherever he looks.
They need to make like a Cure the Wolf is Innocent game, and literally the moment you click into the game, it just is a giant L.
Oh, that would be like Dark Souls.
That's the entire game.
Like you play, and like every time you do anything, it'll be like, nope.
No.
Nope, not happening. You died.
You die immediately. That would be funny.
Yeah, right. I think I gotta wrap this up. I'm gonna have
I need to.
nightmares now.
I'm. You're welcome. I guess. I don't know if I gave
No,
those to you or not.
no. I think this is very therapeutic, to be honest. But
It
no, it's
is
been.
actually in a way. I would say
Uh,
so. I
but yeah,
mean, I haven't gotten the chance to talk about it since then, so.
and you're the very first guest to this show,
Oh
possibly the
yeah.
last. I don't know, depending on who else will come on.
How come nobody is allowed on the Mr. Trigger show anymore?
Doesn't happen anymore.
It doesn't happen anymore. Why not? No reason. The last time we had a guest on the show, they talked about a dog fucker for 2 hours. That's why.
But
Didn't end well.
but no, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, right. I'm gonna find a way of ending this stream. Gotta find a bit of song.
Don't let the Iranian hackers get you, kids. Goodbye. Just end stream.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it.
Good.
Let me see. Right. Everyone, have a good evening. Have a good night. Make sure the Iranian super hackers broke the Trigger show.
I was the Iranian super hacker the whole time. It was me.
Sleeper agent in disguise.
That's how I was able to get Kira to talk to me.
But yeah, everyone, enjoy your evenings, your days, your nights, whatever. And yeah, if you have your pet nearby, hug it, give it a pet, give it a treat, spoil it for a day, because they deserve that at least, But yeah, have a lovely evening, everyone.
Everyone, take care of yourselves.
See ya. Bye.